And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Telstra Dome. Round 10 action continues between the unbeaten St Kilda and Carlton. 12th on the ladder, 3 wins and 6 losses. Will they be the side to stop this juggernaut? Justin Kosicki, the man that leads the Saints through the banner, celebrating his 50th game of AFL football, as I welcome my good friend and colleague Brian Taylor to the broadcast. Brian.
Good afternoon, Gaz. Yes, Kosicki leading the side through the banner for his 50th game, and if they win today, it'll be a 107-year-old record that has broken 10 wins in a row for the Saints.
One or two things will happen today, Brian. We'll either see the upset of the season or we continue to see one of the more impressive sides of recent times in St Kilda. This lineup is jam-packed full of quality players, including that man Kosicki, also his partner in crime, Riewoldt, but on every single line you see players who are just in career best form.
Wow, they lead the league in defence and attack, Gary, and that is why they are so good. And then throw Robert Harvey back into the mix, who's back into the side for the Saints, and all of a sudden you've got an all-conquering side. 2 small forwards that are very capable, Milne and Guerra there, and 2 tall forwards that are just as capable.
Yes, and Guerra is one of those players that you just wonder how he slipped through Port Adelaide's grasp. He's come over here and he's looked like, a reborn player. He's hard, he cleans up some scalps along the way, but he's absolutely lethal with that left foot, Brian. Perhaps the best converter in the competition.
Well, 10 goals last week, 10 kicks, 7 goals, sorry, and 20 goals too for the entire year is an outstanding effort. Combine him with Stephen Milne in the other pocket, who's kicked 21 goals, Gary, and they're a hard duo to stop the ground level forwards for the Saints.
Well, it's almost the perfect match-up, but Carlton have always prided themselves on lifting for milestone occasions, and this is a significant one. Scott Camporelli plays his 200th game of AFL football. He crossed from Woodville, West Torrens back in 1995. He's been a best and fairest winner and an All-Australian. A very, very, very good career.
Indeed, Gary. Of course, debut back in 1995 from South Australia. Woodville, West Torrens, I think he was from. And the designated leader of the side at the moment as well, with the absence of Anthony Coutafit. He's had an outstanding year. I think his career has actually blossomed under Dennis Pagan. He's found some stuff that I never thought he had.
Well, it'll be a magnificent tribute if they could get across the Saints today for Camporelli. Let's have a look at the side. Davies, Hume and French all out due to injuries. In comes Morrell, McCormick, and a young man that plays his first game in navy blue colours, Ricky Mott.
Straight into the ruck, it'll be a tough job for him. Fevola's the only one up forward that looks like scoring. Lappin at half-back has been really good for them, really solid. Thornton's always a goer, but they haven't got enough class all over the deck for me to win this one.
Ricky Mott's an interesting proposition. He's a big man. They need some big men to step up, and Jason McCartney caught up with Dennis Pagan a little earlier and asked him about Ricky Mott.
I hope Ricky does well today. He's certainly a very good ruckman at centre bounces and boundary throw-ins. We've worked very hard on his fitness, and so has Ricky. So I hope he gets a result. The other boys have played a part and done varying roles for us, Jason, and we're really pleased. We didn't have any draft choices, so to speak. We had to go down that road, and they brought something to the club.
Scott Camporelli, the acting captain, playing his 200th game today. He's really led from the front this year, and you must be pleased with that.
Well, he really has. He's on top of our tackle tally. He's been in and under at all times, and he's set a perfect example. And I think he's really grown with the leadership while Anthony Coutafit has been out.
We know he's a talented player, significantly on top of the tackle count for the season.
Well, that's one of those things that I think he's added to his game under Dennis Pagan. I think Pagan's to be credited with that, because I think Camporelli could have been judged for the early part of his career, a bit of an outside player, but all of a sudden he's doing it both ways now. He's getting in and under and getting on the outside of it as well.
Let's have a look at the AFL ladder now. Nearly completed 10 rounds of football. Get a pretty good idea of just where these sides are at, and you know where St Kilda are at. On top of the ladder, 158 is their percentage. They can do no more, but Carlton are interesting. An upset today would put them right up there amongst sides contending for those last couple of spots in the 8.
Amazing. 14th on the ladder, win today, and they're within a game and a bit of percentage of jumping into the final 8, and we're only not even halfway through the season yet, so absolutely amazing given the fact that Carlton, Collingwood and not so much Hawthorn, but certainly Carlton, Collingwood in 14th and 15th, still a chance to make it.
Always enjoyed some good battles, the Blues and the Saints. Let's hope that is the case this afternoon. We'll take a break here at the Telstra Dome. Eddie Maguire to join us. You're watching Sunday Football. Welcome back to the Telstra Dome. The roof is open on the advice of the Bureau of Meteorology, which is taking somewhat of a risk. When we have a look at today's forecast, I think the expected top temperature is 17 degrees. Currently it sits at 18. So work that one out as I welcome Eddie Maguire to the broadcast. Hello, Edward.
Oh, there you go, Gary. Even the weather's playing above itself at the moment here at the Telstra Dome, and this mob, Carlton, will have to play above themselves in recent times to inflict any pain whatsoever on St Kilda. You'd think 9 wins, 0 losses for the Saints, as Brian said in the opening, going for a record, club record, 10 wins in a row. And I suppose that is the tail of the tape, really, when you've had the perennial underachievers St Kilda for over 100 years, and one of the greatest clubs in football, the Carlton Football Club. And oh, how those fortunes have reversed themselves. And I have no doubt at all, boys, that would have been spoken to the St Kilda players today, because for years Carlton laughed at St Kilda, used to send their old players down there, knock off the young kids, do all the stitch them up left, right and centre. And I reckon there's a bit of payback time about today for St Kilda and Carlton Footy Club.
It could well be. Carlton have won the toss and will kick to the left of screen as we head down to the boundary, where we find Jason McCartney.
Good afternoon, Gary. Good afternoon up there, boys. Look, I spoke with Carlton assistant coach Tony Elshaw before the match. Quietly confident the Blues. They know they've played some very good football in patches. He mentioned the Brisbane game up in Brisbane. Can't see it happening, no. They maybe think St Kilda might underrate the Carlton side. And look, this St Kilda side, though, with Heath Black being an emergency, he was on fire some 4 weeks ago. Very strong. Can't see him being top today.
Good on you, Jace. Thanks for that. Some of the matchups.
Gehrig to full back.
Yep, the leading full forward in the comp, I think, goes to full back on Fevola.
So there you go. Yeah, we'll get the shot at the other end of the grounds where all the action is. Fevola in the goal square.
I think you'll find Fevola's gone to
Fevola's
full-back.
gone to full-back.
Has he?
Yeah.
We've mucked it up. We looked at the other way. So Brendon Fevola at full-back.
Middle of the ground. We're underway. Round 10 action here. Carlton and St Kilda. Out wide, the Blues. Brendon Fevola at full-back. Kazitsky does well. Here goes. Fevola in front, mark strongly. Feeds the handball to Teague, who's been impressive at half-back for the Blues this year. Fisher gains possession, centre wing, dished the handball off. Stevens was caught as quick as he got it. Kept it alive here, the Saints. Aussie Jones, what an outstanding year he's had. Hudson missed the early part of the year with the shoulder, and the kick is good.
Yes, he has. He's certainly lined up at fullback Brendon Fevola on Fraser Gehrig, making a bit of a statement, I'd reckon. Dennis Pagan.
Out comes Rewald on the half volley. Saints into attack. Twice inside the forward 50. Coming out with a bit of dash was Lappin, but he's handed it over, the former St Kilda player. And Kazitsky will have his second touch in game number 50. So Justin Kazitsky goes short. It was a shocker. The mark has been taken for the Carlton side by Thornton. Just to show that it's all fair in love and war, he has another shocker. Going for a 10-metre pass from the defensive 40, and it's chopped off by Rewald.
And this is the challenge for the Saints, is to maintain the intensity they had last week. 101 points was the victory. And, well, you know that Carlton are going to come at the Saints. Whether or not their motivation is the same, well, remains to be seen.
Deep attacking zone. Blake hands off. Here goes Milne. Does what he does best. Kicks it around the body. And the Saints have got there first.
He's an excellent starter. Stephen Milne always starts games in a dangerous state of mind. Last week he continued on. He kicked 4 goals. Just some errors early in the piece, but he just snatched that out of the hands of Carl Norman. And then he's always a very good converter around the corner like that. So interesting matchups at the moment. Teague has gone to Aaron Hamill, which is another one that, well, on the face of it, you'd think that perhaps he might be out of his weight division.
So Milne gets the first one of the game after a minute and a half. Up goes big Ricky Mott in his first game for the Blues. The X-Man Xavier Clark dives in on top. We'll have another bounce. And you just look around and it does look like a team fighting well out of its weight division, Gary Lyon, today. Carlton up against St Kilda. There are mismatches everywhere.
Yeah, look, Rewalt and Thornton. Rewalt's got height on his side. Hamill against Teague, as I said. Also got some size advantage, so it's going to be a challenge for the Blues.
And there again, you saw sort of 3 St Kilda ruckmen, if you like. It's Bills. Lenny Hayes, it'll take back out. Milne for 2 in 2 minutes. Dances around, was leg nearly. Now he sets up and has a shot. Look at that for strength. Gehrig just pushes Fevola over the line, kicks another. Pure strength beat Brendon Fevola on that occasion. And then the skill kicked the goal.
Well, gee, the talent We had the privilege of watching them last week, Eddie, and they've picked up where they left off in the middle of the ground. Lenny Hayes and Luke Ball and just pushing the ball forward. Fraser Gehrig down here, who again is a powerful man. They're just a formidable outfit. They got they started in the middle with Blake, Ball, Guerra started in the middle, which would be a surprise, and Harvey. It's Del Santo on the wing.
Fevola starting at full back on Gehrig. Gary, I want you to tell me, he may well stop Gehrig, but how did Carlton kick a winning score? I want to know that in a moment. Blake got a piece of it, butted up for another attempt. Hayes, bit of class, and Harvey back into the side today. Feeds off and Jones finds Rewalt. Centre wing. Rewalt. The kick ordinary in the end. Had to go and get it there, Swartz. Renegades trying to keep them honest. Wiggins got it out. There's the 200 gamer. Camporelli. Norman, his 21st birthday today. Coughed it up. Robert Harvey.
Be a good party.
Indeed it would. You never know what you might find there, Ed. Ball goes forward. Hodgson, Houlihan. Here go Carlton inside for the 50 for the first time. Johnson, long ball. Not accurate enough. Bounce didn't help him either. And a boundary throw in deep in Carlton's attacking zone.
Just doing my matchups here. Haven't even looked in Carlton's half of the ground because that is the first time it's virtually gone over the halfway mark. So it's a good question you ask. Brendon Fevola at full back. Who will kick the goals for the Blues? I'm not sure. Big Lance might have to bag a couple.
There is Big Lance. He gets the tap looking for Scotland. Free kick going the way of Harvey. Got one high. And Gary, with Fevola, he was criticised last week for his performance in the last quarter. You've got to be disciplined playing at full back, so it's not that bad an idea. And let's be honest, he's going to be in the thick of the play. You may as well put your good players where it's going to be.
He has kicked 27% of Carlton's total score this year, though, Ed.
There is always that side of it, Brian.
Struggling just at the minute to find the logic. Dennis Pagan, a far better man equipped to make the decision than I am. But
maybe doing a bit of teaching, though, rather than kidding themselves today.
Not playing for the win, Ed.
Oh, I think they're playing for the win, but trying to get something out of the game. As Lappin kicks over the line out of bounds, we'll have a throw in. I'm getting strange looks up here from everybody. Jason McCartney's on the boundary line. Jason, how are you?
Good, Ed. How are you, mate? Look,
give me something, mate.
Give you something. It looks like Dennis Pagan's employing the three-quarter ground squeeze already, with all the forwards pushing up at all costs to try and you know, crowd that St Kilda dominant forward line.
Okay, as Powell comes on for ball.
Boundary throw in Hayes. Got it at the back. Banged it inside 50. Milne. Late arrival in the air, but nearly grabbed it. Thrown to the ground. Glenn Bowyer there.
Look at that pack of players. Four St Kilda players, 3 Carlton players. So Matthew Lappin's had a pretty good year. Can play off his man a little bit. He just couldn't afford to do it on Stephen Milne, so that'll be one we have to watch.
Ball up, attacking 50. Saint Stevens through traffic, eventually got caught. Can't do that with St Kilda anymore. Harvey had a bit of time, class.
Oh.
Peripheral vision was fantastic, and Milne, the recipient.
Sensational.
Look, Stephen Milne is, particularly early in the game, is as lively as any forward going around, and Matthew Lappin is a great reader of the footy and loves to watch what's happening and see it unfold. He just can't take his eyes off Stephen Milne. He just ducked out the back of the pack, and he will hurt Matthew Lappin.
7 clearances for St Kilda, none for Carlton as Milne lines up and misses. 1 goal, 1 for a normally accurate Stephen Milne.
Yeah, beautiful tackle by Del Santo, who's one of the unsung heroes of this side, Gary, isn't he?
He is, Eddie, and he shouldn't be, because he is every bit as impressive as the likes of Ball and, you know, the younger players, Clark.
Oh, he's a star. Up goes Big Blake, who's been fantastic too, recovering from injury. There's my man, Del Santo, gets it out to Lenny Hayes, who puts it to the hotspot. Gehrig from behind takes a screamer.
Righto, that's enough. That would be enough for me.
Would it?
Oh, it's enough.
Who then?
Well, educate someone that's going to play fullback for you for the next 3 or 4 years.
We got Thornton and Prendergast, have we not?
Yes, we have. But gee whiz. Oh, no, let's not write this thing off yet.
Fraser Gehrig comes in from 20 metres out. It's starting to look like we're witnessing a car crash in action, boys.
Well, look, it's 5 minutes in, and what you suspect when you're doing your review of a game is starting to unfold in front of us. And I'm not sure that you can blame Carlton too much. They're just outclassed. You mentioned Del Santo. Lenny Hayes is a superstar of this competition.
Well, 7 clearances as well, Gary, out of the middle.
Look,
To zilch.
Pure and simply, they're smashing them at the moment. And they've only tapped into about 25% of their talent.
Gehrig's got a couple in 8 minutes. St Kilda have got 7 clearances out of the middle, and Carlton have got none. And we wait to see what the Blues can supply. In the middle, Mott couldn't get a piece of it. Harvey, significant already. 8 clearances, you're right, Ed. They work at the centre half forward. Houlihan, partial throw there, surely. Johnson did well early in the year, kick forward. Over the top went Penny. Del Santo, look at the numbers of St Kilda players that arrive for assistance. Swartz gets it wide to Jones. He'll drive it inside 50. No, he doesn't go short. Powell. Gehrig's one out with Fevola. Poor kick in the end, allowed Fevola to just sag off and mark, and he goes wide.
That's a Fisher who marks at half-back. Camporelli's run on is honoured for his lead. It's a good kick too from Fisher, and Camporelli, the acting captain, marks and go over the top and does. On to Heath Scotland, who's pretty deadly once he gets inside 50, decides to kick to the hot spot. It's a beautiful looking kick. Up goes the #1 draft pick. Down he comes, gets the free kick. Advantage is paid. And Norman has kicked the goal for Carlton. Would have been a free kick, I think, to Walker. Although the umpire did signal was paying the mark. He should have actually gone back and taken the mark. But anyway, it's a goal to the Blues. That's the main thing.
I think it was all clear, he signalled there.
All clear, but let's have a look here. The whistle did blow. Yeah, no, it was play on.
Yeah,
there was the free kick there.
Free kick definitely to Walker.
Carl Norman.
And advantage played, and the goal kick by Norman. Looking forward to watching Andrew Walker. Big rats on him. First time I've seen him in the flesh. So he's from down at Chukaway, which is Golden Valley territory. Enormous talent.
Carlton get their first 9 minutes in. Interesting duel in the middle has gone all St Kilda's way so far. Every clearance. What can the Blues to do to stave off that? Nothing at this stage. There's another one for St Kilda. Hayes and Jones with a bit of space. Jones drilling ball. Gehrig on the lead has been paid the mark. Fevola arriving late. Not much you can do about that, Gehrig.
No, absolutely not. It's just good delivery. Lenny Hayes from the middle. What I would suggest, see that picture there, Brian, is that Brendon Fevola starts just behind Fraser Gehrig. When the opposition get the ball, take the 10 metres in front of him.
Gehrig for his 3rd goal in 11 minutes. From 48 metres out, he's missed. Minor score, 3-2. St Kilda to 1 straight Carlton.
So what I'm saying is you take a bit of a risk. If he kicks it over your head and Gehrig's able to mark it, well, you might have to wear that. But take up the dangerous space that Fraser Gehrig is most likely to lead into. Lenny Hayes, by the way, 7 touches, 2 clearances, 4 inside 50s.
Gee, they're working the zone well there. Playing pinball, the Blues. Do nothing for your nerves if you're a Carlton supporter. Camporelli gets a 50-metre penalty against Milne. 3rd touch for Campo. Umpires today, umpire Schmidt, Rouston and Coates. Coates is the man blowing the whistle there, giving the 50-metre penalty. So Camporelli floats one into the forward 50. Big pack flies. Good punch from Hudson. Front and square was Houlihan, but it's the X-Man, Xavier Clark. Went with the tackle. Ball spills out to Camporelli again. Has been good. Get out of my way. His teammates got in the road there. Now it spills out to Walker. Under pressure. Camporelli kept going. Del Santo in the traffic. Did it beautifully. Looked up, saw the jumpers. Kicked it out wide. Powell gets there eventually. Mucks it up though. Got one in the back. Umpire said play on. It's going to spill out. This is a good play by Prendergast. He wanted the ball more than anyone in that contest and was rewarded. He got it. Now Big Lance has got it. He kicks to centre half forward. A chance for Ricky Mott. His first kick for the Blues is a good one. And Fisher marks 25 metres out on the angle to put Carlton within 8 points.
It was a sensational contest from Prendergast out here on the wing. He was outnumbered. They had the run of the ball. Stephen Powell, who fumbled badly, and he was able to win possession, and that's what they've got to do. They've got to go and win their own footy, Carlton, and this is exactly what Ian Prendergast does on this situation. Got up, 2nd, 3rd effort, won the footy. Don't go looking for handouts or anything else. Go in and win your own football.
Fisher And he comes 35 metres out. Not a lot of angle. Should nurse this one through and does.
Well, good on the Blues. They've taken their opportunities, and that's what they'll have to do this afternoon, is every time they get a shot at goal, to sit back and win it. But they've got to do more of this, is be prepared. They're not supermen. They're very talented, St Kilda, but they're not supermen. They might fumble, they might lose their feet, and you've got to serve it up to them. Be prepared to take that challenge on. And that was a great sign. Nice kick from Lance, and it's a good start.
So the Blues respond with successive goals to just keep the Saints honest on the scoreboard, trailing by just 8 points with 11 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Clearance is the important thing. Carlton have got to resurrect that. Haven't won one yet. Guerra runs to goal. Short ball being marked on the line by the big fella Kozitzki.
He got away with that, Guerra, didn't he?
It was a shocking kick. Both you guys have identified the fact that they've just waltzed out of the middle of the ground, and maybe you've got to look at putting someone at the back of the square, because they've got such confidence. They're all just charging forward onto the ball from the centre clearances, and Carlton just they can't do anything about it.
That was Guerra's first touch for the day so far. Hamill, Goddard and Maguire yet to have a touch for the Saints.
7 goals last week for Guerra from 10 touches. In comes Kozitzki, obviously point-blank range, nails it. Saints have got their 4th, and he's got his 1st.
Now, let's have a look at this as the ball comes back into the middle. It's an area, obviously, that is St Kilda absolutely dominant on, but that's the big punch forward, and they just all run onto the ball with no one coming at them. So whether or not we might have to see a loose man wander around just for centre clearances to sit at the back of the square and don't allow them that free run through centre half forward. The Saints forwards very disciplined.
So big Trent Noble, who got the decisive hit out at the last centre bounce. The clearances are 10 St Kilda. Carlton yet to have 1. 10-0. So Noble has another go at it up against Mott. Noble gets the tap. They get the clearance. Look at that. Harvey out to Hayes. Beautiful play. That's 11 zip now. Bad bounce. Picked up now by Ball. Ball inside short. Guerra around the body. The bounce might beat Fevola here. No, he did it well. Did it well enough, but it's going to be a goal anyway to his immediate opponent. And 3 now to Fraser Gehrig. The handball from Hamill over the top. And poor old Brendon Fevola caught between the devil and the deep blue sea.
And look, right now people will be saying, I don't agree with the Fevola move onto Gehrig, and people would be saying, well, he's kicked 3. That's not the point. 2 of them, doesn't matter, whether you're Jeff Southby. One was on a lead at mark, and then that one there, he did everything right. Brendon Fevola, he took a risk, attacked the footy, kept it in front. It was just that Hamill was strong enough to stand up and be able to feed one over the top. So it's tough afternoon.
Gary, can I ask you, the Fevola move at full-back, do you think maybe Dennis Pagan's is teaching him a little bit about how hard it is as a defender and not to be just a forward who expects it lace out all the time? Bit of an education for him?
I've got no doubt about that, Ed, and I'll expand on it when we get a stop.
Well, here we go. If Carlton is successful here, it'll be their first clearance.
It won't be.
And they're not. In the end, it's a 0-0 draw. But Gehrig has got 3. Playing well, Gary. Significant that all of St Kilda's 5 goals have come from inside 25 metres.
I guess what I would argue is there would have been time throughout the course of this game to give him that education. I think I would have put him forward early and hoped that he could perhaps kick some goals and keep them in the contest long enough.
Saints through the middle. The troops arrive, and a few got out of the way and allowed Noble, who coughed it up. Blake was trying hard in the end. The Blues, Fisher got it. Handball wide lap and running off half-back. Beautiful presentation. Finds Norman. 55 metres out. He's got Whitnell one out in the square with Penny if he wants. He's still one out. Kick it to him and give him a chance. He's a tall forward, but he goes the low ball. And the mark has been taken by the Saints. Why, Gary, do they not kick it to a one-on-one to one of the best tall forwards in the comp?
Who is that?
Well, Whitnell. When he's going.
Lack of confidence, I reckon, in Whitnell at the moment.
Maguire out on centre wing. Kozitzki took the diving mark to relieve. Is he having a good day in game number 50? He is running like a 6'4" ruck rover at the moment. There's Lance. Shins it in. Houlihan.
Generous.
740. 720. I think it was 740. He went more than 2. Anyway, here's Goddard. Up to Hamill. Big Aaron takes the mark in front of Teague. A few people from Carlton with long memories. Up to Fraser Gehrig. Getting across. This Lappin. Maybe the Saints fans can boo him.
Very brave, Lappin, leaving. He left Milne on that occasion. That is why Fraser Gehrig had to give a stronger contest, because Milne was lined up front and square on his own.
I suppose they have to rob Peter to pay Paul, don't they, Gary? Somebody has to go back to be the third man up, and at the same stage it releases another champion at ground level. Good play by Penny. Out position, Whitnell. The handball is a beauty to Harvey, who has been on fire. He's had 5 clearances. The kick from Aussie Jones was to the chest of Aaron Hamill. Decides to go with a 3-quarter kick. Beautiful mark taken by Rewalt. Third touch. Kicks inside, one-on-one. Gehrig knocks it down. Milne hit the pack hard, ran past it. Lappin, who's won the last few battles. His clearing kick was out to Digby Morrell. Copped a bad bounce. Now Diggers is in a bit of trouble. Was handballing off balance.
Great tackle.
Wiggins tried to take on his opponent, and Hudson put him to the ground. Now the Goose. Big Matt Maguire's got it. Walks around, if you don't mind. That's a second-year player, showing all the poise as you like. Looks like a 200 gamer out there to Goddard. Another second-year player. Chips it over the top. Of course, was destined to Carlton. Goddard as a Carlton supporter. Only, of course, for that pick to be gone because of salary cap breaches. Here's a chance, though, for their #1 pick from last year. Walker misses the target. Camporelli looks up. Has Digby Morrell off. Free kick to Whitnell. Yep. Down in the pocket. Lance Whitnell's being held by Penny and will kick from 35, 40 metres out on a 45-degree ankle.
Yeah, didn't see it, but we're watching the action at the time, but that's definitely what the umpire signalled. So Lance got a golden opportunity here. You don't often get them to just fall into your lap like this. 30 metres out from goal, has to make the most of it.
Rob Harvey's coming to the bench for a spell. Powell coming back on.
5 clearances for Rob Harvey, Ed.
11 possessions.
So Lance comes in. Desperately need this, the Blues. He's missed it from 55 metres out. So bad one for Lance.
So there's Robert Harvey. He'll have a spell after a dynamic opening 20 minutes for him. And Aussie Jones bangs it back in, looking for Maguire. Off hands was McCormick. Here they go. Thompson, the man that replaced Harvey, gets it out wide. Noble.
Free kick.
Free kick against Fevola.
Downfield. Against Fevola, right on the edge of the goal square as well. So it'll be point-blank range. And guess what? Fraser's going to have 4 after 21 minutes.
Interesting to see Bowyer there just yelled out to Fevola, said, lift your head, get up here and stand on the mark. He's just got another 50. Maybe Bowyer should have said, stay out of the way and I'll stand on the mark.
Well, I'm not sure that the education process has been that successful just at the minute.
No.
They're red hot on this holding this weekend, the umpires, aren't they?
Well, fair enough.
Gehrig, goal number 4. Saints have got goal number 6.
And Fraser's got a rather bemused look on his face. He's thinking, I haven't had 4 easier ones than that in footy for a long, long time. Now, a lot of spotlight on Brendon Fevola just at the moment. The pressure is coming to bear on his shoulders, and maybe that's what Dennis Pagan wants. He wants to see how he will react, whether or not he can hang in there with a big challenge and start to understand what it's like to be a backman when you don't get the pressure through the midfield or from your forwards even.
So Fraser Gehrig has 4 goals, 1.
And they've come from a total distance of 47 metres between them.
He hasn't had to go out too far, has he? 50-metre penalty just to make sure there from Brendon Fevola. Noble thumps it forward. It's picked up, though, by Wiggins off the back of the square. The kick was smothered. Thompson onto Rewald, onto Hayes on the left boot, and he'll kick nearly a goal. Gehrig unable to take them up. They've been spearing them in, the Saints, today, haven't they? Guerra and also Hayes there, Gary.
Don't know why, Ed. Don't know why you would, but Lenny Hayes has been dynamic as well. 10 touches. He is on fire.
Class act, Lenny. Goddard high, DeLuca in front, but the mark was taken in the end by the smaller Bannister at half back. Kicks in the Whitnall direction. Morrell got back as well. So did Maguire. McCormick. They're in the headband. Did well in the end. Good play. Carlton Fisher. Short ball. Houlihan sees the loose man on downfield. Couldn't quite get it to him. DeLuca with a bit of pace on the left. Need a goal before quarter time. Missed. The minor score 2-2 for the Blues. 6-3 for the Saints.
A bit of a challenge too for St Kilda's defenders and some of their midfielders not to get ahead of the play. The temptation to push forward when you're pretty well on top is sometimes overwhelming. That's why when the ball gets turned over, we've seen a lot of Carlton players running into their forward 50 on their own. Bit of discipline needs to be shown by the Saints here.
So Aussie thumps it long. Marking options everywhere there. They lined up. They had Goddard. Noble said, kick it to me. And he did in the end. But further afield, you had Schwartz, you had Penny, you had Kazitsky, you had Rewald lurking around, and Hamill didn't even have to present. Powell, here's Hamill's chance. A bit of an edge out. He goes hard at the ball, as always. He's grabbed. Ball spills out to Baker. Umpire's blowing the whistle, have a bounce.
The great thing about Aaron Hamill is it wouldn't matter if his side had won 34 games in a row or were down and hadn't won for 10 weeks. He goes the same way. Sends a really good message to a young side.
Xavier Clark flicks it back to that man, Hamill. Forces it through sheer will to Powell, who gets it off to Baker. Baker now sets it up. Gehrig's again got the sit. He's got the ball now. Now he can snap a goal. He's close again, Brian.
Yep.
He has 5 before quarter time. Is it touched?
Yep.
Touched. 4 goals, 2.
Tony Bodie, I reckon it was, that got his hand on the footy and just saved a 5th tick going in the Gehrig column.
The glove got it.
Yep, and the umpire must have been very close, but anyway, he's picked it up and we didn't. Kazitsky, ordinary kick in from Brendon, perhaps not his go as a full forward.
Well, they had Prendergast and DeLuca long.
Kazitsky short, looking for Clark, no go. Wiggins, or Bannister it was. And we'll see a boundary throw in deep in St Kilda's attacking zone. They lead it by 25 points.
Do you reckon Dennis Pagan will go over to Brendon Fevola at quarter time? Was this touched? Yeah, he was.
Absolutely.
And so now do you know what it feels like to have the ball sitting on top of you all day and comes up to you and you whinge?
Powell, off hands. I reckon you've got to go for the win first. Into the square, free kick. Against Gehrig.
He could have had 8 Fraser Gehrig in this first quarter.
Yep.
Carlton, last line of defence stuff.
So out it comes to Lappin. Thornton, that half-back, to McCormick, centre wing. He's off, umpire says play on to Lappin, who has to kick underground. Over the line, out of bounds. And that's about it. There was no system really at all coming out of there for Carlton.
Well, they tried to get the 3-on-1 with the big fellas in the kick-out, but the kick-out from Brendon Fevola wasn't that great. So they've got a bit of an idea what they're trying to achieve. I guess now the next step is to actually carry it out.
Always hard up against a great side like this St Kilda one is becoming. Stevens around the body from Whitnall. Schwartz. Got great support from Hudson. Then pushed his luck over the top. Open goal for Scotland. He can run in and kick the goal for Carlton.
Good pressure, good forward line pressure down there for the Blues. And look, a genuine jump from Walker that made Schwartz spill the footy, and then look at the follow-up from a young kid in his first year. That's the exact way they need to play. We saw it out here with Prendergast and it resulted in a goal, and you saw a couple of efforts there from Andrew Walker. And that is, look, it's as basic as that. You just got to compete, contest, keep trying.
So Scotland gets his first goal with 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. St Kilda are locked on the identical score, I think, from memory, as they were against West Coast at quarter time last week. So just under the 3 minutes remaining. St Kilda by 20 points. Free kick in the middle will go Carlton's way.
Stevens for too high. It's good umpiring. The umpire forward of the ball picked it up, had a clear view.
Nick Stevens. Been a pretty good buy for the Blues. Out wide, high Fisher. He's capable of taking those marks in the pack. Teague to a standing start. Wiggins delivery. that Whitnell really had to get down low. Maguire met him absolutely head on. And they are the hardest tackle to apply those, but Maguire did it well.
Great courage in the tackle, wasn't it?
It was indeed. Out wide. Not finding the target by foot. Noble. Thompson. Hayes. Class. Wide Baker. Saints with rhythm. Go forward. Hamill had his man done. Gehrig could have given and should have given the handball, but he didn't need to because he bent it back and kicked his fifth to the corner.
He would have been sacked from the full forwards union if he had done that, Brian.
Wouldn't be. We saw last weekend, remember, there were a couple of decisions where, regardless of where this game was on the scoreboard, I think Rewald, I think Hamill had a shot when he should have given it off. Wouldn't be surprised if that was one that Grant might say. I think that was a handball to Milne running in the goal that should have been given. 5 goals for the quarter, possibly easily could have been 8 for Fraser Gehrig.
So on schedule, Fraser Gehrig, he's on top of the Coleman medal scoreboard at the moment. He could kick 20. He might fix up Fred Fanning today.
Schedule for 20. You could be on schedule for 28.
Fred Fanning's record.
5 goals in a quarter. He'd be feeling absolutely on top of the world.
Have a look at his face on the camera. He was just slightly bemused by it all.
He's up to 46 goals for the year, so he's on schedule for 100 as well, as Schwartz wobbles one out and finds Milne.
Well, Milne's come onto the ground, and Prendergast was his opponent down there for a little while.
Hamill and Lappin were slapping each other. Hamill got him with a little slap. Don't know whether we caught this or not, but that's what the reversal in the kick is all about, and will cost St Kilda a goal.
So, something for the Blues. The kick up to the wing position. Schwartz from behind. Noble has dominated since coming on. He has had the day of his life.
It's a big lad.
Out to Penny. Penny's kicked to Del Santo. Del Santo, no one on the mark, so he kicks to Thompson, who's done well since coming on as well.
Luke Ball's just snuck on at the moment and hasn't got an opponent.
And that's where it's going. Luke Ball.
Milne.
Oh, they're lining up. Milne. Who do you want?
Well, Prendergast has still got Milne at the moment. The ball came on and off the interchange bench and no one went to him, and Big DeLuca.
Milne plays on, and he's just having one of those days, Milne. He too could have had 3 goals to this stage of the match. Possibly 4. He's got 1 goal, 2 instead.
27-point lead to the Saints. Clock just under the 30 seconds to go. And Lappin will bang it back into play. The Saints have been sensational in this first quarter. Gehrig's got 5.
Just to make it worse, the sun's come out, just so Lappin can't see anybody.
Saints' best first quarter of the season, and that's saying something with the football they've played this year. Del Santo elevating. Didn't grab it. Stevens. Standing start. Whitnell. Got a good trap. Need to get rid of it a little quicker. Carl Norman attacked by a couple. Thompson, he's desperate to win the ball because he's come on replacing Harvey, so he wants to impress. Houlihan kept it alive. Can give it to Scotland. Probably should have. Went by the left foot himself. 2 seconds remaining. Will they score? No. I think that might be it. It is.
Cruel.
Scotland was heading for goal and he actually kicked it, but it won't be counted, I'm sure.
Cruel, that is.
And what a quarter by the Saints. Dennis Pagan and his team, Tony Elshaw in the front, Stephen Kerner in the back, have got a lot of work in front of them. They trail by 27 points. Fevola, the man in picture there, started at full back on Gehrig, and Fraser Gehrig kicked 5 goals. Carlton 3-2, 20, St Kilda 7-5, 47.
Points is the margin in favour of St Kilda. You get the feeling it could have been a hell of a lot more, and Fraser Gehrig is the story. He's had 7 kicks on that man, believe it or not. Brendon Fevola lined up at fullback. He kicked 5 goals, 2 in the first quarter. The 200 gamer, Scott Camperelli laying down the law. Dennis Pagan did at quarter time, but gee, they're just holding back the dam at the moment, and who knows what Fraser could end up with today. Have a look at these stats, Brian Taylor. What do you make of them?
Well, they're all St Kilda's way. That's what I make, Gary. There's no doubt about that. You look at the inside 50s, absolutely in St Kilda's favour. The clearances out of the middle as well. I know they're not there, but they've absolutely pulverised them. And the disposals per goal, just much more efficient, the Saints.
They were around the 13 or 14 mark last week as well, I think, which is an amazing efficiency disposals per goal. But this is Dennis Pagan still addressing his troops at quarter time. He had a go, then Scott Camporelli had a go, and Dennis is lining up for another go here. They have got some work to do. They're a young side, they're inexperienced, they've got some new faces in there, and they're up against the powerhouse of the competition.
Well, Gary, give us a couple of names for Carlton to stand up. I mean,
I'll tell you,
you need some big boys to stand up.
You
today.
do. I just want to give a pat on the back to Thornton, who lined up on Nick Riewoldt, who's one of the best starters in footy. Now, Riewoldt had just 2 kicks for the quarter. He had 4 possessions, and he's done some good jobs, Thornton. I remember giving him votes earlier in the year when he took on James Hird, so taking on the big ones. But really, it's time for Lance Whitnell, who people think I drive him pretty hard, but he is battling and struggling and doesn't look like it at the moment. Nick Stevens is out there. Nick always tries hard and runs hard. There's Anthony Koutafidis and Colt Kinnear up on the grandstand. They'd love to have him out there.
Well, boys, last start, of course, St Kilda Carlton. The Saints won by 91 points at Optus Oval, and Fraser Gehrig kicked 7 goals, and that was before they became world beaters.
Yeah, he's got that covered. Let's go down to the boundary, and then we'll have a look at some of the new matchups with Jason McCartney.
Thanks, Gary. Yes, the experiment is officially over. Brendon Fevola has made his way to the forward line, so let's look for a spark there. The emphasis now placed on rest and recovery. Great emphasis placed on it then with the rubbing of 6 St Kilda players at quarter time, the rotations through the interchange, had about 12 interchange rotations, the Saints looking very fresh.
That's interesting, Jason, because they've really worked on that. We'll talk more in detail about what they've been doing during the week in a few moments' time. Let's get on with the second quarter, though. Ball up, secondary ball up.
Fevola has gone half forward, I reckon, being picked up by Max Hutchton just at the moment.
So out of the centre, there's Lance, Scotland. Just sorting out the cough button here for Brian.
Well, it's the wrong button, I mean. I do what I'm told to do.
Fantastic there. Brian's actually turning the volume up on his cough.
Even my coughs are making it to air now.
Out of the centre, Del Sando. Here he goes again. Del Sando all the way. Hambles over the top to Milne. Lines up. His 3rd shot at goal. Make that his 4th, and he's got 2 goals too.
Again, it was at a stop play, secondary ball up. And once the ball clears itself for the initial group of players, they have got, and this is what happens when you're dominant, everyone runs forward and takes a big risk. And this is why Carlton have to work so hard, because St Kilda right now will push forward because they've got such confidence at stop plays. If Carlton can win one, well, they'll have them on the wrong side. Don't look like it at the minute.
Carlton by 33. Milne's got a couple. Played just a minute 40 in the second quarter. DeLuca out of the middle. Stevens. Ball forward for the Blues. Fevola, the intended target. Hutchison got a hand there and happy to push it to the boundary line. Big Ricky Mott in the middle it was, not DeLuca.
Now we've got Prendergast who's been moved on to Nick Riewoldt. Thornton has gone down. He did a good job in the first quarter. His reward going to Fraser, who's got 5 and is rampaging.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, he probably thought he should have started there anyway. Morrell, Penny, Hayes. Del Santo out the back. Time to fumble and still recover. And put the ball forward. Norman got a poor bounce. Kazitsky, handball in hope. Scotland to beat a couple of Saints. Clark applying the tackle. That one may have been a little high, but no free kick on Bannister.
That's great from a young fellow. I think that's what they'll be looking for. Xavier Clark spoke to Aaron Hamill through the week, and he said that is what they want to do, is the interchange bench there. Plenty of experience. Powell and Thompson to come on. Baker and Noble.
Last week, the Saints didn't touch the ball at all during the week, just to refresh themselves after having some interstate battles and some short weeks, 6-day breaks and things. This week they've trained very hard. Apparently they've got out there and really run hard. So their idea is not to go flat at all, is to try and not let anyone get tired so that they have to then be regenerated. In fact, just to keep them simmering below a boil, if you like.
They could go to the country on a houseboat for a week at the moment if they keep playing like this. No one would question it.
Del Santo has got leather poisoning today. He is knocked up getting the ball. That one was a bit off target. Has been marked by Lappin. So one-time Saint.
Free kick down here, 50 metres been given away. It's against Luke Ball, I reckon.
Yeah, he sat Wiggins down, Gary.
Yep.
Well, they're red hot, the umpires, at the moment on off-the-ball incidents. All weekend that's been the case, and that's a good thing.
Well, there's 3 of them. That's exactly what they should be picking up.
Yeah. Here's big Brendon Fevola. He hit the pack hard. It spills to Digby Morrell. Morrell's kick is online. Has it got the distance? I think it has. Big Digby's kicked the ripper. No, it's been marked on the line.
Cleaned up a couple, though.
Just got there in time. So the Blues have been stiff. They've had a couple of set shots of goal that they should have kicked as Baker comes on for Milne. And then, of course, Scotland missed by a second, and that one missed by a matter of centimetres. Hamill on centre wing. Goes forward, looking for Revolt.
He does indeed. Revolt won't let him down. Yes, he does. Hutchison's a little sore behind play as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. As Stevens drives to the middle of the ground. Wiggins put out the claw. A spinning move by the Saints. Was superb. Now the kick, all important from Maguire. Missed its target. Norman. A bounce from half-back. A couple. Watt presenting. Here's Fevola on the lead. It's a low ball. Needed to mark out in front perhaps on that occasion. Hudson. Maguire spinning out of trouble. Beautiful kick. Nice weight. Good poise. Kazitsky now goes forward to Rewalt. Couldn't glove it again. Play on. Kazitsky. Camporelli stole it. And goes for the safety of the boundary line, but overcooked it. And it's out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, just hit the wrong part of the ball. Didn't get any spin on it. Over the line, out of bounds. Baker to Hayes. Takes on Camporelli and beats him. Look at that for poise. Lovely kick to Gehrig, who's got the set, the strength, just couldn't quite glove it. He's been penalised for body on body.
He's just pushing him, He's doing.
Yeah, I think the umpire said it might have been before 5 metres, which technically is right.
It's a 5 goals to your name in the first quarter free kick. That is.
That's the little kid up forward is getting too much. It
might have been too high. That would be the only thing. It was perhaps in the neck. I don't know if it was for the home.
They're both holding each other.
Give me a break.
The full forward, Brian Taylor, has come on.
Great pressure.
Turnover there. The pressure came from Gehrig. Now's a chance for Goddard. Can Gehrig get back? There's no one for Goddard to kick it to. Gehrig's just turned his back on play and run down the full forward. He'll get a chance. He will he? No. His opponent did it well, Thornton, and took the mark.
Good kid, Thornton.
Lappin mopping up backdoor stuff. Morrell encourages Camporelli to run with the drawing handball. Camporelli searching kick, misdirected. Mark taken in defence by Maguire. Not happy with the Fevola late arrival. And Maguire of the Saints. Only the 1 goal kicked in this second quarter, so they've stemmed the flow to a certain degree. Carlton, 6-minute mark. It was a great kick, Ed. Del Santo. Now got lots of time to sum up the options and a bit of help, but took a bit too much. Good smother in the end by Stevens. Baker put his head over it and won it. Now dished it to Del Santo. This time from 45 metres out. Saints have got the second of the quarter, the first to Del Santo.
Well, Maguire down the other end at centre-half back, sing the praises a lot of the midfield. We sing the praises of Fraser and his mates up in the forward half, but Matty Maguire has not put a foot wrong this year at centre-half back. He stands tall every time. It's a lovely finish from Nick Del Santo, but he puts his body on the line, got into the hole, backed into the hole. Fevola was coming, and he and Maguire should also take a few of the plaudits in this side.
Del Santo gets his first. Saints have now kicked 9-5-59 to the Blues 3-2-20. Oh, look at this, out of the centre again. Beautiful play. Baker, who set up the last handball. In fact, it was Ball who got it out to Revolt. Revolt thumps it up high in the air, looking for Gehrig, who's got the set. Couldn't quite hold it. Guerra, the danger man. Couldn't get the kick away with his right boot. We'll have a bounce.
Revolt comes to the interchange bench, had a pretty quiet start to the game.
Now that's not disposing the ball properly.
Sorry, I was just looking at Revolt.
Free kick. Can't just throw it out like that, Brian.
No.
Norman gets the tap. Hamill, that is a beautiful tackle. He's pinned and gone. Well done,
That's
David
the
Teague.
old police hole. You remember that, Ed?
I saw it in the movie once, Brian.
Yeah.
As Teague gets the ball out.
Well, the bouncer, get out of the nightclub hole.
I think I saw that one more. Houlihan's kick was a shocker. Powell, here's the turnaround. Matt Maguire kicked one 65 metres a minute ago. That one goes 50 to the square. Gehrig's got it. And Thornton says, come on, boys, give me some sort of a chop out. At least get it up the ground a bit.
Well, you need to almost put this in percentage terms. If it goes in there, keeps going in as it is, well, Thornton might win, 1 out of every 5 out of 6, but it might go in 24 times for the quarter, which means 4 goals to Gehrig.
This for goal number 6 for Fraser Gehrig. Goal number 6, 3 for the quarter, 4 in a row. Get the record books out.
When do we start talking records? I mean, and this is not being disrespectful to the Carlton team, but it is a bit of a procession at the moment. They've had 38 more possessions than the opposition at the moment, St Kilda. They are, doing pretty well what they want through the middle of the ground. And Fraser Gehrig is on his second opponent, their best defender, I think, in Thornton, and he just hasn't got the height or the strength to go with him. He's a beauty, Brett Thornton, but more of this, expect more of this.
Gary, the sad part about all that was that it was a Carlton turnover from Houlihan under no pressure. It wasn't as if St Kilda had to do anything to really win that ball.
Yeah, it's hard enough.
Saints have got all 3 goals of the second quarter as they continue to march. Harvey out of the middle. He'll get a spell in about 5 minutes. Driving kick, Hamill direction. He and Teague have been punching on behind play as well. So watch out here. A clumsy fall there by Hamill, picked up by the classy Hayes. Snap again! 4 in a row for the Saints in this second quarter. They are on fire!
I spoke about Nick Revolt last week about how he's just about pushed himself into the top notch of players in the competition. Well, Lenny Hayes might be knocking on the door, if not already there.
What's this, boys?
I think that missed. I think that missed on Dave Teague. Luckily for Aaron Hamill.
So Teague and Hamill have got their own little war happening, little battle in amongst this match this afternoon. 71-20. Ordinary bounce. Maybe it was a mercy bounce from umpire Coates. Gave Carlton the chance. The ball spills to Fisher. Open goal. He's got one. First goal since the 27-minute mark of the first quarter. Saints have kicked 5 in between. His first. Second.
Yep, 2 goals to Brad Fisher. Got 1 in the first. Look at this. This is beautiful when you bang it on the boot and it just goes like a spiral from heaven. Look at that, Brian.
Yep.
Straight through the middle. So they have pushed everyone up. They've got no one in the goal square. Carlton forwards at all. They're all up across half forward. A bit of classic Pagans paddock. And not sure who the quick player is that's going to run back. Maybe it is Brad Fisher.
So what do you do if you're St Kilda coach, Gary? Your team's absolutely toppling the other mob. Do you go out there and say, let's go for some sort of record, or is that just a bit cocky?
No, I'd be setting them very clear goals, Brian.
Would you? In terms of scoring?
Yep.
Okay. Carlton go forward again. Harvey. Around the body. A bit of pressure on the kick helped. It's coughed up in the end by Clark. Del Santo stamps his authority in this passage of play and gives it to Powell. Driving ball started on the bench. Powell, up goes Teague, got a hand to it. Guerra went one-handed. Hamill went with the whole body. Got driven into the ground, play on ball. Look at Hamill and Teague go on in the background.
And David Teague has not taken a step back at this stage. Aaron Hamill terrific, but Teague is just going toe-to-toe with him.
Goddard now will need the driving kick here. Swartz on his non-preferred side. Now he can straighten up. Got a piece of it. Bowyer comes to ground, off ground, soccer, out of bounds on the full Guerra, and it'll be a blue free kick in the back pocket.
Gary, when you talk about the targets, would the targets be more tackles, run receives, those type of things? Because the goals will come from that. You can sometimes get a bit preoccupied by the scoreboard.
Positively right, Eddie, and they know exactly what they're doing. And in the process, Brian, I'll be saying if you do all those things, you'll be looking at about 8 a quarter.
The Saints You look at this. They're lined up again. Big Noble. Oh, that was Kazitsky who flew. Lance wanted it. Umpire said, let it go. Aussie. Inside to Maguire. Got the handball away. Penny tumbles one forward. Here's a chance for Fevola, who's gone to the back line again. Got it out to Bowyer, who just blindly kicked up forward. That's all you can do. The Saints have set the wall up now across the paddock. Put the barbed, put the roof fence up, boys, the rabbit fence.
Well, I think what's happening is that Carlton have pushed a heap of players back just to try and stem the flow a bit, and that's why it'll free up St Kilda across half back. They just got to not get greedy here, the Saints.
Yeah, just about every player in the ground is lined up between the two 50-metre arcs in the midfield. So Hayes tries to penetrate that over the top, up towards Gehrig, off hands. Milne back on the ground, but he's too far up the ground to be able to hit this pack. Hamill just went bang.
That had a bit of the Dennis Banks, David Rees-Jones look about it.
Just whacked him and the ball went over the line out of bounds. Let's have a look at this, David Teague. Boom.
It's a great contest.
Marks inside 50, Gary. 8-2 St Kilda's way, and disposals inside 50, 32-13.
It's amazing. It's an amazing stat.
It's amazing enough further in front.
Boundary throw in, deep, St Kilda forward line. Gehrig got the handball out. Snap it shot, but a snap it goal. Baker across the face. What a minor score in the end. Something for his trouble. Kazitsky takes a bell. Guerra on the bench with a spell as well. So St Kilda, as Jason mentioned at quarter time, are rotating that bench and keeping them nice and fresh. So some good coaching here by the St Kilda box. Camporelli goes wide. Rewalt looking to win the contest. Does in the end against Prendergast. Handball to Goddard. Now the steady kick needed. Del Santo disses off to Aussie Jones. Left foot kick. Look at this. Look at this. Hamill marks. Uncontested. Nonchalantly over the top. That was arrogance. Got it to Hayes. Little left foot snipper. Around the corner with a bit of crab in it. And he nailed it, Lenny, for his second goal of the quarter.
All right, well, Stephen Milne that took the mark in the pocket. And I'm not sure whether, I reckon the runner might come out to Stephen Milne. Have a look at this. Have a look at this handball.
Coming off, Gary.
Yeah, and that is why, because that really should have been intercepted. Ball should have been up the other end. The goal came about because of a lucky bounce and also the skill of Lenny Hayes, but that was arrogance. There you go. Straight on the phone, Milne. I reckon his ears will be singed right now. That is what you'd detest if you're the St Kilda coach. Stephen Milne taken from the ground straight away. A lazy handball, arrogance personified, and not the message that Grant Thomas would be wanting to portray at this particular point in time.
Grant getting the message across. No histrionics there. Histrionics. Here's a chance for Powell again to ball. Dragged to the ground. We'll have a ball up.
Lenny Hayes, class acts. 17 possessions, 3 marks. He's had 6 inside 50s. He's having a day out.
Originally from New South Wales, of course, Lenny Hayes. Swans decided to not go with a local player in that particular draft. Jones gets the ball out.
Little barb in there, Ed.
No, not at all.
What
This is it. Maguire did his best impersonation of a boundary umpire. Here's Revolt!
What was that handball from Maguire? That was unbelievable.
So Revolt's got it 40 metres out directly in front. This is the big man's first shot at goal for the day.
And really, if you want to be critical, Glennie Bowyer should have taken Revolt's body, his ribs, the whole box and dice with him then.
10-2, marks inside 50 for the Saints. As Nick Revolt comes in, and easy as you like, kicks the 6th of the quarter for St Kilda.
Yeah, he's had a spell on the interchange bench, Nick Revolt. There you go. That is, I want to see that in slow motion, boys, upstairs if we ever get the chance. But have a look at this. That's where Glennie Bowyer, he drifted past Revolt behind him. He needed to at least make him earn it. As it turns out, he took the mark and kicked it beautifully. He hasn't had the dominant day, but he's still had 7 possessions and taken 4 marks. So, unbelievable.
The Saints have been magnificent today. 6 second quarter goals following on from their 7 first quarter goals. Stevens out of the middle for the Blues. High ball, lots of Saints. Maguire, disregard for his body, just banged into the pack. Whitnell was going away, decided to go towards goal. Across the face, needed a good bounce, didn't get it. And a minor score for the Blues. And they haven't done a lot of it in this second quarter, just the one Fisher goal.
Yeah, just 1 goal, 1 for the Blues for the term. St Kilda have kicked 6 goals, 1. Out to Schwartz. Runs to half-back, kicks to centre wing. Up goes Maguire. Went for the flight of the ball. Good play, Baker. Back to Maguire. Maguire over the top. Del Santo had to stop and prop. He puts it out in front of Hayes. Wasn't the best handball. Carl Norman. Free kick to Carlton. Will come back.
I reckon that passage of play can typify what can happen to St Kilda if they're just giving the handball for the sake of bringing other players into the game rather than making the right decision, Gary.
Everyone charging forward too, Barge.
Yep.
They know that they're 70% chance of winning the footy, so they're all just charging forward.
Mott knocked it forward. Here's Hayes.
He wins it in the contest.
Schwartz, they're lining up. If Schwartz had have looked to the centre there were 3 St Kilda players on their own. Here they are. They're still there. At the penny. It finally came out. Over the top to Robert Harvey.
Hang on.
Oh, it's coming back.
The only reason I knew, I looked up to see who was going to lead. Both Fraser Gehrig and Nick Riewoldt were just standing there pointing back to the centre wing.
And back it will come.
Clark off, Andrew Thompson on. And this is what keeps them honest. Andrew Thompson, great servant, desperate character. He'll come on now for 10 minutes and just work his backside off.
So Del Santo kicks forward to Ball. Oh, very good courage and skill there by Ball. He was way out of position. Hudson dancing on the boundary line. Good smother by Fisher. And we'll have a throw in at half-forward flank for St Kilda. Just over 7 minutes left in this second term. The Saints leading by 57 points.
He's been the best, Brad Fisher, the Blues. He's had a dip. He's kicked a couple of goals.
Yeah, it was good smother. Half forward for the Saints. Look at Noble fighting for the front position with Mott. Harvey had players hanging off him, still got it out to Thompson. Power working back on the left from a difficult angle. Don't tell me. It's all happening for the Saints here today.
Oh.
They have kicked 7 in this second quarter to equal their first quarter tally of 7.
Well, if the message at quarter time was don't take the foot off the pedal, you'd have to say that that's been carried out. They've still got just under 7 minutes to go. A lot of people around the pack, but they're just so good at getting them free. And there you see Thompson and Powell both running forward. That's what we're talking about, Brian, that they know or they're almost certain they'll win the footy. So they all push hard forward, and that is a nightmare situation for a defence to find themselves, or an opposition to find themselves in.
So the Saints break the magical 10-goal mark before half-time. In fact, with a good portion of the second quarter still to go. We've only played 21 minutes. Mott tries to hook it off the ground. Ball over the top of it. And we'll have another bounce.
Just with Brendon Fevola, he is at centre-half forward, inside the centre square. There's only one player behind him, and that is Camporelli. Who's going to win that race back if the ball gets kicked into space? I think I'd rather see Brendon Fevola pushing up and leading out of the goal square.
Big pack of players as Mott thumps it forward. Here comes Brendon Fevola. Gets the handball out to Wiggins. Out to Camporelli. Sits for him nicely. Camporelli in his 200th game. Houlihan around the body. Lappin just pushed out of the way. Goddard. That'd break your heart if you're a Carlton fan. Riewoldt. Baker. Out comes Gehrig. Bang! Well done, David Teague. He can talk about being between a rock and a hard place. He's got Gehrig coming one way and Hamill the other as Fevola comes to the bench and DeLuca comes on.
Didn't look like Fraser was all that interested in smashing into David Teague with his weighted and height advantage. Teague certainly doesn't
flinch.
No, doesn't go off the straight line. But I'm not saying Fraser did, but he perhaps could have done more damage had he wanted to.
Could have really hurt him then. This quarter, by the way, disposal 76, make it 77 now to 36. Inside 50s, 16-3. Score 7-1 to 1-1. With more to come. Oh, look at that. Gehrig to Riewoldt. Second for the quarter. 8th for the term for the team. A procession.
We've still got 5.5 minutes to play. Just wonder what happens to Prendergast in this contest. Up goes to ground. That's what happens when you go to ground. You just put yourself out of the contest. And he's game and brave and all those things, but no, just being overwhelmed. It is as simple as that. I'm not sure we could say anything more about Carlton or even the Saints for that matter.
Well, the Saints just keep marching along here. 8 goals in this second quarter. Rewald's got a couple. And just doing as they please. Powell out of the middle. Putting the body in there was Ball and got himself a free kick.
We see Aussie Jones start off here. So confident are they? He's being tagged by Lappin.
And 50 for Ball. So this will bring him inside 50. Indeed it will. And well within scoring distance.
Didn't see what it was for, Brian. I was watching Aussie Jones start off. I was just going to say how confident they are. He just took off, Aussie.
Got a high-ish tackle. Now, Harvey comes from the ground. They'll use this opportunity to rest a couple of players here. The Saints, who have managed the bench very well today. And here is Luke Ball.
Noble came off for a spell as well.
And Milne back on with Blake.
And his 26th game of league football. Directly in front has kicked 5 goals, 2 for the year. In he comes. Kick on the way. Just got a bit of it. It's enough, though.
Cheers.
St Kilda continue to just kick goals.
That's 9 for the quarter, Gary.
I tell you, Dennis Pagan has resisted the temptation of throwing any footies, any players behind. It's St Kilda's best quarter all season, not surprisingly. But he hasn't dropped numbers back at this stage. He's got Digby Morrell out here on the wing on his own. I don't know whether that we might be better employed, although he's still playing half forward on Maguire. But no, he's just continuing to go one-on-one. I guess continues the education.
A forlorn Brendon Fevola camps on the bench as his team trails now by 75 points. 25 minutes gone in the term, still 5 minutes. The Saints have had their best quarter of the season, and on it continues. Maguire from Guerra. Guerra got cleaned up there, and he has got a bit of his own medicine. It's friendly fire. Stevens kicks it long up towards full forward. Look at that. 3 Saints up. Disciplined play by Schwartz. Takes it to the boundary line. Kept going too, Schwartz. Finally, it's over. We'll have a throw in.
Look, he's come off the ground. Maguire head clash it was.
We'll just get inside 50s for this term. It's just been, I can't remember looking up here much. We've had 2 scoring shots, the Blues. 18-5. 18-5. 9 goals, 1 to 1-1 has been the scoring this quarter. 75 points the difference. And Maguire goes off.
That was the head clash with Brent Guerra, Ed, that laid them both up. Matty Maguire's opening himself up. And like the Dogs last night, the blood rule he's been able to get off.
Indeed. 4 1/4 minutes left.
Oops. Oh, Lenny.
Johnson got a piece of it in Carlton's end. Goddard working hard. Guerra was tackled. Got rid of it. Saints got numbers here. Jones on his left side. Doesn't make any difference to Aussie these days. Kazitsky, long handball. Ball needs a good sitting bounce. St Kilda go forward in numbers. Got players running on his right. Got players running on his left. Had them downfield as well. Ordinary kick, wasn't it? Doesn't matter. Thompson's there to mop it up. Milne in the pocket. Baker back to Rewalt. Gehrig's long if he wants him. He goes short and finds Powell.
So Powell can go to the top to Del Santo if he wants. Look at this.
They still haven't turned
Still
their
hasn't
back.
gone. Look.
Powell, look at that, Ed. Wow. Del Santo marks Teague there now, but
Well, it's hard to be critical of David Teague, but he just had to go and take Del Santo because Del Santo was the most dangerous opposition player. He was very wary of Hamill, but Hamill happened to be in a group of about 10 players. So he had to say, all right, I'll take the most dangerous, and that was Nick Del Santo.
to make it an 81-point lead with 3 minutes remaining on the clock to half-time, Nick Del Santo must be successful and is. Got his second of the quarter, second of the game, and it is the Saints by a whopping 81.
Sometimes you wonder whether these wins whether they can do more harm than good, but there is not one indication that they're taking their foot off the pedal here, St Kilda, and this is on the back of a 101-point victory. Now just watch, I'm not sure, there's Nick Del Santo just quickly in the right of screen. There's Carl Norman, who turned his head, and in comes David Teague, who wandered over to the left. Gee whiz.
6 consecutive goals to the Saints. A goal to Fisher interrupted a further 5 consecutive goals. So they've kicked 11 of the last 12 in the match. And for this quarter, 10 goals to 1.
Nick Del Santo came charging in from centre-half forward in that situation, realised he got there early, just jumped in the air. Now, to cross the centre square for a free kick, you have to be on the ground, do you? I know it sounds stupid, but I've asked the boys to see if we've got it.
It's a good point. Well, they're inventing things now, the Saints.
They're that hungry to get a kick.
Blues go forward. Goddard, there he is. It's a free kick to the Blues. And Lappin will take the free kick.
Matty Lappin's gone down to play essentially on Ozzie Jones to see whether or not he can drag Ozzie away from the footy, or at least take him away from being the attacking force.
Let's have a look here. Yeah, that's a free kick. Just.
That's about an 81-point free kick, that one.
Yep, not much in it. But he's got the free kick. So Matthew Lappin lining up for goal for the second for the term for the Carlton Footy Club. He comes in and he gets it to bring the margin back to 75 points.
Matty Lappin, who has been probably their best player, nearly, has he? I haven't seen a hell of a lot of the Blues, to be honest, but as a defender, is now doing that role. But on Ozzie Jones, who has been, well, he's had 15 possessions, Ozzie, so that is why Matty Lappin's down there. He has had 12 possessions of his own, most of them across half-back, rebounded out of 54 times, but now he's got a job to do at the other end of the ground. Teammates once, those two.
So the flow of St Kilda goals has stopped with the Lappin goal. 75 points down. Here the Blues out of the middle. Del Santo. Guerra, one hand, nicely done. Down the throat of Gehrig on the lead.
How good is that?
We've been watching Fraser. He hasn't wanted to lead for the last 20 minutes, but on that occasion he thought, oh, I'll get on my bike. Maybe he saw Brent Guerra with the ball in his hands, because he's just a beautiful disposer of the footy.
Now, if Gehrig was successful here, kicking his 7th goal, it would be the best quarter of any side this year, and it is. Of any side this year, Gehrig has got 7.
I'm running out of room in my goals column for Fraser, and I get the feeling that I'm going to have to make some room somewhere else, because he's not finished with yet. He's got 7 to his name.
The record is 13 goals, 3 by Big Plugger.
That's in danger.
Round 21, 1991.
That is in danger. I might have to go up into either Max Hudgson's column or perhaps down to Stephen Baker's. Wouldn't surprise if Max Hudson got there. Great kick.
So St Kilda's 18 goals, 6, 114 is a club record against Carlton for a first half. They played 197 times, these teams, and 197 times Carlton have belted them, 156 to 39 with 2 drawn. But today it has all been turned on its head, because the Saints are inflicting the mother of all hidings.
And he got the mother of all wax on his head, Matty Maguire. It'll take a bit to stop the young man.
So the best ever first half by St Kilda against Carlton. And rewriting the record books each week. Last week, of course, look at this, hasn't finished yet. Milne with courage. Good play by Gehrig. He held Thornton back long enough. And Milne, who has been on and off for different acts, been a little bit undisciplined at times, has still kicked 2 goals too. Unlucky not to have 4. And he's missed a couple of easy ones. He's at 58% today with his kicks.
I reckon Grant Thomas rapped with the way he marked that too, Eddie.
Yeah.
He didn't know that Fraser... That's great confidence perhaps in Fraser Gehrig, but it was a courageous mark.
Only on the ground 58% of the time, and he still kicked 3 goals. 87 points. Now that is bad luck, 87. If you're playing cricket, and it's a cricket-type score that we're looking at the moment.
He started in the centre square, in the centre circle, did Stephen Milne, and as soon as the ball was bounced, he sprinted down into the forward line, and that took some courage. He didn't know that Thornton was being blocked, and he kept his eyes on it. Doesn't come naturally running back. It doesn't come naturally to many players running back with a footy like that. there's only probably a handful you could think of. Be happy with that. I don't think Dennis would be.
The Carlton coaching box. What next? What do I say to them at half-time? Where do we go from here? A 12-goal second quarter by the Saints. Not done with yet. With 25 seconds remaining in the half. Powell fighting hard. They're still having a crack at ground level, Saints. Milne missed him. Bowyer. Indiscriminate handball, just looking for some help out wide. Scotland wrapped up in the tackle.
And that'll be it.
Mercifully.
Ball up, siren will sound. There it is. St. Kilda's second biggest first half ever. That's right, St. Kilda's second biggest first half ever, and the best quarter of any side this year. 12 goals.
And the best ever first half by St Kilda versus Carlton. 19-6, 120 to 5-3, 33 is the greatest ever first half of football by the St Kilda Football Club against their nemesis. There's no doubt that these two teams have been poles apart for over 100 years, but those poles have swung amazingly. It's the Saints by 87 points at half-time.
Driving kick, Hamill direction. He and Teague have been punching on behind play as well. So watch out here. A clumsy fall there by Hamill, picked up by the classy Hayes. Snap again! Left foot kick, look at this, look at this. Hamill marks, uncontested, nonchalantly over the top. That was arrogance. Got it to Hayes, little left foot snipper. Around the corner with a bit of crab in it. And he nailed it, Lenny, for his second goal of the quarter.
Well, we were starting to wonder whether the Blues were going to come back out after half-time. Very late out onto the ground. St Kilda been out for about 4 minutes or so, broken up into their huddles, into their respective positions, and the Blues have just come out now. Virtually have to go straight into position to get this game underway.
Well, the ball should be bounced now if they follow the correct procedure for time, Gary. And
So there'll be a fine.
Yep.
There'll be fine, Carlton, for that.
They're late getting back from the quarter-time huddle too.
Interesting, boys, that there's 3 games this weekend where teams have moved from their home ground for financial reasons. This is one of them,
Yep.
of course, from Optus Oval to Telstra Dome. The other 2, of course, one's still underway, and the other one last night, the Bulldogs got hammered. It looks like the 3 are going to cop a pasting.
Well, the half is underway. The players are barely in position.
Look at that for a gang tackle. Brian, I reckon that states some intention pretty early there from St Kilda.
Well, we're looking for those little signs to see whether the Saints are switched on and going to press for the all-time scoring record or not, Gary, aren't we?
Well,
Yeah.
one record that's certainly in their sights. They've kicked 19 goals, 6 St Kilda. They only have to kick 26-10 to beat their highest ever score against Carlton, which was last year, round 20.
Well, that's the first one we'll go for.
And 91 points for the winning margin, but we can get to 26-10 probably by 3/4 time if they keep on the way they're going.
Well, that's what's keeping my interest, I'll tell you.
Me too, without any great disrespect, but that's what we're looking at.
Long ball forward, Whitnell. Hutchton in defence. Picked up in the end by Norman. Handball out. Fevola under enormous pressure. Wiggins tackled by a couple. And the intentions and the attack on the ball by St Kilda is pretty good. Let's go down to Jason McCartney at ground level.
So, yes, look, knowing Dennis Pagan well, I don't think it's in his makeup to go pushing players behind the ball. He'd rather his players one-on-one accountability and try and fight their way a bit of a respectability.
All right, well, they've got a fight on their hand.
They have indeed. They've still got Fraser Gehrig, Hamill and Revolt with Milne as their crummer. Guerra will get his way down there eventually, so they're still going with their A-grade setup.
We could throw a blanket around about 25 players at the moment. Camporelli in there, Kazitsky, Hayes over the top. Oh, and he's pulled out a free kick.
Oh, he's pinged Scott Kemp. You don't do that to blokes on their 200th.
Oh, that was red hot, Coatsy. Probably right, but tough. Del Santo. Lovely kick up to Revolts. Off the hands. Milne, Crumming, back to Revolt. Suddenly it opens up. Gehrig, he decides to have a shot himself. On the left boot, he sprayed it out in the full.
Interesting note, Gary, just looking at the Carlton bench down there, they've got Johnson, DeLuca, Clark and Walker, all very young, inexperienced. What's he doing there?
Apart from David Clark, you'd suggest. I don't know, Brian. Probably trying to stay competitive, not get totally blown out of the water, although maybe a little bit too late. But I tell you, Andrew Walker played at half forward, and in an 87-point loss of first half, that is probably the hardest spot in the ground to play. I just wonder whether or not an opportunity for him to play. Well, I'm going to suggest half back, but then you're putting him up against the likes of Hamill and Revolt, which might be a bit beyond him as well. So probably just trying to not scar them too much mentally, perhaps.
Say, yeah, not let him get smashed.
All knocked down. In fact, it's Mott on the bench, not DeLuca. He's out there amongst it, DeLuca. Ball in the hands of Houlihan, or it was momentary. There is DeLuca, and I tell you what, he's been knocked out there.
Yeah, I was going to say Mott will be on now.
Yeah, he caught a slight knee or a hip, and it caught him flush on the side of the head, I thought. And he's feeling the effects is DeLuca. In the meantime, the Blues work the ball forward. Fisher, driving kick inside 50 for Carlton. Good body position there by Norman. Touch though off hands. Minor score the Blues. Their first score of this second half.
There he is, DeLuca, who's got some talent, this boy.
Just, ooh, ouch.
Yeah, that is
dangerous.
That is very dangerous.
Just the hip. Yeah. Just the hip of Clark. Yep.
Probably didn't think he'd go down that low.
Yeah.
He's not well.
You just need to be careful when you've got players with heads over the footy. We say it week in and week out.
He's coming off the ground. He's in a bad way. We'll keep an eye on him down there. As Maguire thumps it long up towards Gehrig. Got the front spot. Milne just set underneath it. On to Revolt. Here's the first goal of the quarter. And St Kilda have got it. Revolt has 3 goals.
Started slow, Nick Revolt, but yeah, moving into his work beautifully. There's DeLuca coming from the ground. He'd be a bit sick and sorry, but the lesson here is for Glennie Bowyer. Now, we saw Milne fly and leave Milne on... sorry, there you go, 18. That's Milne's opponent. We saw Lappin do that, but he took the mark, so Lappin couldn't mop up the crumbs. On that occasion, Bowyer left Milne on the ground, flew for the contest, spoiled, straight in the hands of Milne, who gave it to Revolt. Stay side by side with Milne.
Well, they're fired up, the Saints. They've got a target in mind without any doubt in this second half. They led by 87 points at half-time. Rewalt's kicked his third in the first of the second half. There, and they want to go on with it. Milne caught with the ball. Good tackle by Bowyer. We'll see another ball up in the middle of the ground.
That's a lesson for... There's DeLuca, who did get a heavy knock to the head. Be surprised if we saw him again. Walker, Clark and Johnson with him.
Young kids in the background, not all that concerned, Gary.
No.
Just going on with their normally daily routine.
As the upside is he might not have any memory of this match.
Stevens working hard in defence. Lappin has probably been their best player across that half-back line this year. Carlton. Thornton had to retreat because he had nothing on out in this direction at all.
Did well.
And look at all the St Kilda players there. And they're wanting to deliver it, but he did all he could do in the end.
He did really well, and he continues to impress as Brett Thornton. Luke Penny's had the better of Lance Whitnell today. There's no doubt about it. Teague and Hamill have had... That's probably the most even contest on the ground.
Noble. Del Santo, Clark. Milne can mark and run to an open goal. Looking for goal number 4 for Milne. Got it. Saints off to a flyer in the third, as they have been in each of the quarters.
Glenn Bowyer's not the man for Stephen Milne. You've got to find out. I understand that. I can appreciate what Dennis Pagan's trying to do, but he's just too much. He's too busy. Milne, he drops out the back of a pack. He doesn't play predictable football. That is why the man that plays on him just needs superb concentration. And Glenn Bowyer just got caught up watching the play for a split second. Milne was gone out the back, and this is the result.
6 minutes into the third term, and the margin is 98 points. This is St Kilda's greatest ever winning margin at the moment against Carlton. Last year they won by 91 points in round 20. That was their greatest ever victory. So after about 108 years of getting their heads kicked in by Carlton, they are paying it back with interest in the last 2 games of football. The Saints now kick 21-6. Their biggest ever score against Carlton, 26-10. Is well up for grabs today as Hudson wobbles one out. Xavier Clark with too much pace for Houlihan. Too much desire as well. Turned him inside out. Then looked up and was able to just chip it forward. Guerra in front of Scotland. Guerra has got Clark on in the inside if he wants to use him. Holds the ball up. Clark is still on. Clark is still on.
Kazitsky on Lappin. That's where I'd be going.
And that's where he goes. See, I would have gone to Clark because I knew that Lappin was going to.
I still would have gone there if I knew the outcome.
Thornton out wide, who, believe it or not, has got a sore neck from watching the ball go over his head, but has been one of the better players for Carlton today.
Yeah, he's been great.
Hamill and Lappin really going ding-dong behind the play. It was absolutely on. They're still talking.
Yeah.
And you can just see them in the back of the picture there. Here they come together now. I picked it up pretty early, and there was a real nasty piece of work going into it. Teague comes in now. Boundary throw-in continues. Camporelli, but this will continue to break out behind the play, you think. Hamill's been fired up today. Swartz bounced off his chest. Tries to keep it in front. Norman did well to work the front position from Swartz. Morrell, slick hands around the corner. Scotland's kick was smothered. Play on, got his own ball. Driving kick to centre half forward, and Fisher has marked. Play on over the top. Carlton will kick a certain goal. Norman in the pocket.
Well, that was a good run from Carl Norman. Fisher and Thornton have been the two for me that have really been able to hold their head up high. That was just a bit lucky. He made a blue. Scotland, the ball came back to him.
Jason Cripps, the runner for St Kilda, just going out to Aaron Hamill and making sure that he was in control of himself. Smart move as Norman lines up for his second goal and the first Carlton goal of this second half. Carl Norman, and he comes. There's the confronting task, and he doesn't let his side down. His second goal.
Yes, just watching, well done to Fisher with the assist. I'm just watching back behind the play. I tell you what, if words were possessions, Lappin would have about 140 and Hamill would have about
still on
125. He's fighting out of his weight division a touch, Matthew Lappin, but he's certainly given a fair bit of yap.
Carl Norman gets his second goal.
I was just amusing myself down the other end of the ground, Edward. Very, very interesting, Aaron Hamill and Matthew Lappin. Not sure what's going on between the two of them, but it's been enjoyable and entertaining.
Plenty to say. Guerra came off the back of the pack and tried to fix up Wiggins. Wiggins gets the free kick. The Blues have only once kicked consecutive goals in this game. Here's a chance for them, though. Aussie Jones in the way, goes to ground. Umpire calls play on it, spills out to Camporelli. Lance gets buffeted out of the way. Norman over the top, comes out again. Camporelli wants the goal. Desperate stuff by Camporelli. Unable to score the major. But a good sign at least.
Well, that's what they need to do. There's a good tackle laid in there. It is just to be hard at it. Maguire coming to the interchange bench with what looks to be maybe a leg injury.
He was a bit sore before half-time, Gary. He got a bit of a cork. Remember when he kicked that one about 60 metres out to the wing, he pulled up a bit tight.
So Baker, short ball, risky. Swartz marks inside defensive 50. Look for the transfer. There it is. Del Santo waiting out wide. He's got clean skills. Now he goes forward. Goddard completes the mark. Plays on. Handball to ball. Digby Morrell tries to run him down. Centering kick. Watch out for Rewalt. Got the set. Strong. Brutish tight mark. Rewalt has kicked 3, and he'll line up 35 metres out directly in front.
This is a great mark, isn't it?
It is.
A la Royce Hart, isn't it? Across the front of the pack, in from the side.
Just a genuinely strong pair of hands, Ed.
Yep.
That's what happens in a good side. He had his hands full early with Thornton, but because Gehrig was running rampant, Thornton's gone to Gehrig, freed up Rewalt, and now he's running riot.
Rewalt lines up for his 4th goal, 2nd of this 3rd quarter. Directly in front. Casual, a little too casual. And almost stumped his toe on the ground. Minor score.
3 goals, 1. St Kilda marks 60, Carlton 30. It's You get that one, Gary? 60-30
Sorry,
marks.
mate.
60-30 the marks.
Doing some research on the greatest winning margin and the highest score at the minute.
Gary's got the abacus out at the moment. Wiggins for Carlton. Oh, got cleaned up by Hayes as he took his kick. Penny. Fevola gets it out for the Blues. Out to Whitnell. Whitnell's got the paddock on. And Lapin has run down. Twisting and turning. Kicks forward. Fevola using his strength. Good play by Hayes. They won't even consider behind the St Kilda side. And Schwartz runs it out. Puts it out in front of Del Santo. That was a beautiful kick. Up the line he goes to Kazitsky. Oh,
Good hit.
but he got the kick away, though, and Rewalt marked it. Now Gehrig, the chance. Gehrig comes out, crunches the pack. Milne just got a bad bounce. He was onto it. Bowyer was good. Flicked the ball out wide, and still to Prendergast over the line and out of bounds.
Bowyer was lucky. That's what he was. He did it again. He flew as the third man up and left Milne on the ground for quality crumb that he would normally gobble up. That's all right, good and well, but there's Stephen Milne, his opponent.
It was a bit stiff there, Milne. And Hamill just limps to the goal square. I'll take it back. Gehrig limps to the goal square.
Indeed he did.
And Hayes forces another ball up. 55 out from the St Kilda goal. The good news for the Blues here is that they have held back the Tide somewhat. We've played 13.5 minutes, only 2 goals scored for the quarter by the Saints, 1 by Carlton. Here comes another one now. Del Santo measuring it, puts it up for Baker. But they're just starting to over-finesse a little bit. Lappin gets back and takes the mark.
St Kilda have 13 players with 10 disposals or more. Carlton just 5. Carlton out wide here, working the ball forward off the boot of Houlihan. Digby Morrell in spectacular fashion, couldn't quite finish. Scotland around the corner. Fevola got a nudge and he'll get a free. And I think this will be his first shot on goal for the day. Brendon Fevola.
I think you're right, Brian. I can't remember him taking a shot.
Started at full back, Gary, today, and was towed up in the first quarter when Gehrig kicked 5 on him.
Jeez. That is a 90-point free kick.
Oh, yeah, that's just the checking hands of Max Hudson rather than the pushing hands. Brendon with the hairstyle, continually working to develop that, and it's going nowhere at the moment. Brendon Fevola lines up for the Blues' second goal of the quarter. Kick on the way. Looks pretty sharp. I like it. Goal umpire's got to agree. Fevola's got his first.
Never any doubt about Brendon's ability to kick the footy. There's a lot of doubt about that possibly going down in your top 5 softest free kicks for the season. But the actual conversion was, you can put that right at the top of the tree as well. He's a beautiful kick of the footy, Brendon Fevola. Oh, Max, he'd still be fuming about that. Maxie Hutchton might be the catalyst to get Brendon up and going.
So the Blues put consecutive goals on the scoreboard, the margin back to 86 points. Mott goes up, gets the tap. Crashing in there was Hayes. Got a free kick for too high. I thought he actually just ran into somebody himself. Doesn't matter. Del Santo kicks.
Dear. That was well done by Bowyer.
Yep.
Gee, will he leave Stephen Milne? I guess that's what St Kilda got to realise now.
So Bowyer kicks out wide to the wing position. Digby Morrell around the boundary line. Opens it up. Good hip and shoulder there by Bannister. Does it well, Bannister and Houlihan. Bannister needs some support. Gone, says the umpire. Now the advantage is paid as Hayes goes to ball in the middle of the ground. Hamill's all on his own. He's run to space. Teague did well to get back, but Hamill had him done. And Aaron Hamill will line up for his first score. He hasn't been in the party much today. He's been the bouncer. He's been out the front.
He and Teague, that's a very good description. He's been happy to keep everyone else out and let them enjoy the party. But this is where all the damage is being done in the respective 50s. Inside the forward 50 for the Saints, they've had 54 touches. The Saints have had 17, and St Kilda have taken 16 marks inside 50. And Carlton have taken 3.
Bird's eye view here for Aaron Hamill, shot at goal. He gets his first. And St Kilda their 22nd.
And of course, as I said, 54 disposals to St Kilda, 17 to Carlton, 16 marks to St Kilda, 3 to Carlton. So what I'm saying is they are being spanked. Both 50s.
It's like an accountant's convention here today. We're just throwing out numbers, but it's the same result.
Exactly.
A belting.
Hamill gets his first goal of the game, and look at that score. 22-7. Very accurate kicking for goal. Jones confronting Wiggins. Hayes just works the ball nicely. Got in the way there, Lenny, of Aussie. Made the kick difficult. Del Santo had the bouncing ball, went the defensive way. Penny's now under the pump. Camporelli in his 200th game. You'll remember this one, mainly because of the scoreboard. Hayes, kick along the ground, gobbled up. Morrell, standing start. Whitnell was all free. Hudson, there's Whitnell now. Still no one on him. Can he get to his feet? Handball, searching. Norman, nothing. St Kilda, far, far too desperate. Hudson. And he makes amends and gets it out wide to Schwartz, and the Saints are away through Clark.
Oh, beautiful kick from Schwartz.
He's a nice player, Troy Schwartz. He doesn't get much kudos either, but geez, nice.
In fact, he gets more derision than kudos. His disposal has been very good. Another situation where a player suddenly has got some good blokes around him and is able to get some confidence.
Yep.
That is a word that has not been associated with St Kilda too often in their history of their football club, but now they are chock full of it. Confidence. Probably the best player to come to the club this year.
Yeah, you'd love to be playing in this team at the moment.
Del Santo. Margin 92 points. 7 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third term. Blues have at least, as we said, held it back a little bit as Goddard goes up the line looking for Rewalt. Just lost body contact there, Rewalt, with his opponent Prendergast, and the ball goes over the line and out of bounds. That's what it was last time they met. A nice old-fashioned whacking there, St Kilda against Carlton. And the sign of things to come for this all-conquering St Kilda side, who today will notch up their 10th consecutive win, a club record for the first time in their history. 10 wins on the trot. Blake kicks forward. Gehrig might get the bounce. Milne certainly will. Milne into the open goal. And Milne has 5.
He's had a very interesting afternoon, Stephen Milne, but I think at the end of today, he'll look back at his tape and be pretty happy with it.
5 goals, 2.
He's been off for a couple of, one layerising thing, I'd say, but not with too much.
He's only been on for 69% of the game, Gary, and he's kicked 5 goals, 2, and one of them was an uncharacteristic miss, and the other one hit the post.
They haven't got a match up for him, that's for sure.
Stephen Milne has nailed his 5th goal. And we've got 7 minutes left in the quarter. The Saints have scored 4 goals to Carlton's 2. Out of the middle, quick hand Stevens, who was good to Camporelli. And diving mark forward has been taken in the end by Norman. Looking to handball off, go back and kick it from there, I think. Carl, who's got 2 goals in the game. Just the reward for playing in front there and catching Troy Schwartz slightly off guard. Carl Norman, 47 to 145. What a day for the Saints. A second biggest first half in their history, in their 2035 game history, as Norman comes in and kicks his 3rd.
Unlikely multiple goal scorer. Carl Norman started in the back half. Started on Kazitsky in actual fact, and Kazitsky had a great first quarter in his 50th game. And now on his 21st birthday, we believe today, he turns 21. He's now got 3 goals. 3 out of a total of 8.
87 points was the margin at 3/4 time. It's got up to 98 points on 2 occasions. But the Blues keep fighting back, desperate now, obviously, to stay under that 100-point mark. And a kick in the hand there for Blake. Gets it away. Hayes inside 50. Here he is, Gehrig. Doesn't quite know what to do, and he wants to get around onto the left boot, kick a goal. That's what he wanted to do, and he did it. That's 8 for Fraser Gehrig.
I get the feeling he was looking for Stephen Mill, but lost him and couldn't find him. Have a look at this. This is, again, just a dangerous kick into the forward line. I talk about that a lot, but I reckon he goes looking for Stephen. Don't know where he is, so he says, all right, kick it myself. So 8 not lazy ones, 8 goals to Fraser Gehrig. And he's on track for double figures and beyond.
We're back to a 98-point margin.
Fraser Gehrig kicked 7 in that record margin in round 20 against them. This is his career high against the Blues.
98-point lead for the Saints, back where they were at the 6-minute mark of this quarter. So, not really increasing the figure by all that much. 87 at half-time it was. Teague off half-back, goes forward. Good mark, Lappin.
Been good, Matthew Lappin. He's been really good.
Indeed, he has. Carlton in the Fevola direction. Kozitzki strong, tall, and talented in front. Noble wide. There's his partner in crime, the other ruckman, Noble. Long ball, Rewalt, 1-on-2. And over the boundary line as we go down to Jason McCartney.
Thanks, BT. Yeah, St Kilda's just got so many options. They've used the interchange 34 times today to Carlton 17. They've only had 7 players that played the entire game at the moment.
And Matt Maguire having that right leg strapped up. We picked that just before half-time. He was a bit sore. Guerra, who was the superstar last week. Not having the greatest of days today, Brent Guerra, so he's having a spell.
He's been pretty quiet.
So under 5 minutes to go in this third term. The Saints lead by 98 points against Carlton. From behind, Hudson goes the big fist. Fevola handballs inside. Camporella in his 200th. Can he get one here? Around the body he goes. And Camporella gets his first of the afternoon.
He does, and the man that handballed it to him, Brendon Fevola, comes to the interchange bench for the second time this afternoon. So it hasn't been the greatest of days for Brendon. Started at fullback. That was nice work. Scott Camporella hasn't had the greatest of days either in his 200. That must be said. Got pantsed in the first half by Lenny Hayes. But he's now got a goal on the board.
Sun blinding everybody here, bouncing off the Rialto.
Straight into the dome and stunning the 30-odd thousand people here with its intensity. Stevens, Scotland, couldn't quite tidy it up in the middle. We'll have another ball up. 4.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter, and there is that sun bouncing directly off the plated windows of the Rialto building in the city here in Melbourne.
Do something about the sun, Ed, please.
Sit down, Gary.
Just push it around the corner a bit.
Shut the roof, that's what we could do about it. Thompson. No, been a beautiful day in Melbourne. Little coolish. Hamill. Around the corner, driving ball, Rewalt marked within range.
That was great vision, wasn't it? He spotted him.
Can line up for goal number 4 for Nick Rewalt. 2 in the quarter if he was successful.
Not a bad effort for someone who had a pretty ordinary first quarter and got put to the bench, Brian. He's come back on and been dominant. Nick Rewalt.
3-1, Brian. 1-1 for the quarter, and the one that he missed was a put.
Have a look at the spill there of the umpires and the players, the whole box and dice.
Rewalt, in he comes, directly in front, no angle to speak of as Thompson comes from the ground. He's pulled that, searching for the journey. Might have kicked it out of bounds on the full, he has, so he's missed it easily in the end.
So 3.5 minutes left in this third term. Secured by 92 points. A good battle for the Blues. Their most productive quarter of football, kicking 4 goals in this term.
They've been much harder at it, Eddie. No question about it in this third quarter. They've really banged in and crashed in.
The Saints' intensity has dropped off, there's no doubt. But, as Gary said, full marks of the Blues.
It has dropped off, but not to a massive degree. You've got a free kick back here to Lance Whitnell, so bring the footy back to the wing. I just think they've been a lot harder at it, Carlton, and that's not being condescending.
Big underarm throw of the footy there, wasn't it?
Throw.
Fantastic. Houlihan marks, goes to ground. on centre wing. Inside 3 minutes to see if Carlton can win the quarter. They currently trail the quarter by 5 points. Kazitsky, well, that could be a important of things to come. Across half-back, he's taken some great marks. Harvey gets the bounce of the ball and runs away from Lance. The kick up to Rewalt. Back inside. Harvey again. Oh, they're lined up at centre-half forward here. Hayes over the top. Who's his best mate? Hamill or Milne? Because he could have kicked to either one. Hamill's there. Milne wants it still. And Hamill said, no, I'll go back. I want to join the party again. He's kicked one for the term and should be able to put this through from point-blank range to make the margin 98 points.
They did. They were lining up everywhere. Robert Harvey's just come onto the ground. He'll run, we've got about a couple of minutes to go. He ran a couple of K in that time, Robert Harvey. Some poor Carlton bloke will have to tag him around and see if he can keep up with him.
So Aaron Hamill from what should be point-blank range for a senior footballer, and is. Kicks his second of the term. It's a 98-point margin.
David T could be pretty well pleased with his game on Aaron Hamill, but don't worry about just pure possessions. Aaron Hamill and Nick Rewalt, must be said, very good mates, but Harvey just run them ragged. Lenny Hayes has been best player on the ground for mine. And this fella here, his work rate is so important to this side. I reckon if any young St Kilda player dared let up, he'd whack him.
98-point lead for St Kilda as we close in on three-quarter time. For a moment there, it looked like Carlton could possibly win the quarter. Now that's extremely doubtful unless Whitnall was able to convert a goal here. He's got it over the top of the pack. Offline. Minor score for Lance. So a minute 35 in the third quarter remaining. It's been a 6-goal quarter for St Kilda and a 4-goal quarter for the Blues.
So 97 points is the margin with a minute and a half left in the quarter. Out comes Lappin. Gets to the ball first. Good play. Bannister inside to Camporelli. Back to Lappin. 48 metres out. The spearing kick. It's a goal. And I reckon Fisher might have just edged it through for his third.
No doubt. Beautiful cross from Matthew Lappin, who's been their best. Inside 50s are even this quarter, which is a win for, well, it's a much improved result. Just kick to the top of the square here from Matty Lappin, and glad that came off for
I'd like to see him mark it.
Brad Fisher, yeah. I'm not sure why he wouldn't have dived down and marked it, but anyway, knew what he's doing. He's got 3 for the afternoon.
So Fisher was able to convert an unusual soccer-style goal in front of the Blues goal. Look at this, the deaths of Aussie. He sprints, he runs, bounces, kick to Gehrig on the lead. And Gehrig will line up for goal number 9 with a minute remaining until the third three-quarter time break. Chip over the top, unselfish finds Harvey. Fraser, go back and kick those.
When you're on 8. Union.
When you're on 8, Ed, you just
get
got
to those double figures, Brian.
Oh, yes. Doesn't happen all that often, and he would have got great enjoyment out of it. Harvey! Who better to give it to than Robert Harvey?
Well, Scott Camporelli at various stages has had to try and run with Lenny Hayes, and then Luke Ball will come on. He finds himself with Luke Ball. Now he's got to try and track Robert Harvey down, who's just been resting and cooling his heels on the bench. So it's a big ask for the 200 gamer. But when Aussie Jones on the break, I reckon at full forward to just start salivating at the prospect of what he's going to get. He's just a beautiful deliverer.
So Robert Harvey, one of the most decorated players in football, the only medallion missing from his collection, a premiership medallion. Possibly a Norm Smith. He's still got the chance, a big chance in season 2004. Maybe 2 years ago thought he'd missed his opportunity. Just shows you. Look at that. Noble down to Hayes. This could be goal of the year. It will be from here if it bounces back. Over the line and out of bounds.
What a
Carlton fans not happy.
beautiful clearance from the centre there. Nothing better than seeing a bloke run at full pace, which again is why sometimes a loose man at centre half back just can put a bit of doubt into the minds of blokes that run through there. Such freedom.
Ball dangerously at the back. Morrell flicked over the top to Houlihan. Oh no, he's gone without it. Oh, it's hard enough out there today, boys, without doing that. Teague, gone, in all sorts of trouble. McCormick, bang, gone, they're all in there. Finally the Saints get it, it's almost in the back to Powell. Mercy from the umpire will take it and will restart hostilities in the final term with the margin 97 points in favour of St Kilda over Carlton. It has been a monumental belting. The Saints winning the third term by just 10 points, having led by 27 points at quarter time and 87 points at half time. We'll resume hostilities. Carlton 10-6-66, trailing St Kilda 26-7, 163. Says, look out, the Saints are coming through because it's all over now, baby blue. But anyway,
just sing us a couple of bars of it.
Oh, you
Come
don't
on.
want that.
Come on.
That's worse than the Carlton performance if I start singing, I can tell you.
There's Dennis Pagan with his troops still in the huddle here at three-quarter time. Grant Thomas with his group as well. Just wonder what the messages would be as we have a look at some of the stats going forward, Brian. They've got the disposals per goal right down the bottom there, down to 10.
Yep.
And the marks inside 50. Tell me about them.
They are very good indeed. 21-4 in favour of St Kilda. And if you want to mark the ball somewhere on the ground, Gary, inside 50 is the best spot to do it because it normally means you get a shot on goal. And there's been a goal in this game kicked every 2.5 minutes of the match so far.
Be a shot on goal or a shot at goal?
Shot at goal.
Right.
Did I say on?
You did.
Sorry.
What now? What would be the goal of both sides, would you think, at this stage? At three-quarter time, 97 points the margin.
Well, Carlton would be to win the quarter.
Yeah, simple as that.
That'd be their goal. And St Kilda, what do you think?
Well, I'll give you a couple of stats that might help you. St Kilda, despite having 272 disposals to 188, have had 43 tackles to 33. They lead the tackle count. They must be tackling each other.
How do you do that when you had the footy for most of the
Which just shows you, and the hardball gets a 30 to 28. So you'd expect Carlton chasing so much to actually have more tackles, but they trail by 10. Out of the centre again. Here we go. They want a 100-point victory. Fraser wants 10. He's got 8 at the moment. The ball at his feet. Teague gets an elbow in the head. Thompson into the open goal. Oh, touched by Revolt.
What was that?
That was a goal. Except for Revolt touched it. Wow. Let's have a look at this.
Shin, I think, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, no,
I
it's
think it was
missing.
gonna
It's
go
missing.
across.
Yeah,
Yep.
missing.
Theo Thornton's done a good job on Fraser Gehrig. Fraser had 5 up at quarter time. He's only got 3. Now, when I say only 3, well, with the amount of times it's gone down that way, he's done a very good job.
Prendergast finds Johnson. Defensive 50 for the Blues. So the Blues will be looking to win the quarter. It's about all they can hope to get out of the game. Fevola lines up and takes a nice mark. Well up from his forward end. For those just tuning in, start of the day at full-back today, Brendon Fevola and Fraser Gehrig in the first quarter. He kicked 5. Up they go to centre-half forward. Carl Norman. Stripped of the ball. Maguire. Back after a bit of a knock to the head. Jones. Chiseling ball. Hamill. Hamill moves it on. Rewalt stretching. Got down to it. Had it covered. Couldn't complete it. And Fevola will bring it back. No, he won't, because it was smothered off the Hamill head. They'll have a boundary throw in half forward for the Saints.
Let's go down to Jason McCartney.
Thanks, Eddie. Yes, looking at three-quarter time, this is a well-oiled machine. They set very high standards, St Kilda. They realise they've got bigger fish to fry, and this is just one step on the road to what they hope's glory this year.
World record by Jason McCartney. 5 cliches, one after the other. Good on you, Jace. You can tell he's been coached by Dennis Pagan over the years. Ball up 40 metres out. Aaron Hamill picks himself up again and gives away the free kick to David Teague. So Teague has it in the back pocket for Carlton. 98 points the margin.
Come on, umpires.
at the free kick count in a moment. What is it there, Gary? You've got it in front of you?
I have indeed, Eddie. Where?
17-16, Carlton's
I haven't actually.
The bottom of that screen has got it. There it is. Anyway, it's in the centre of the ground. Scotland gets the ball. Oh, Schwartz, look at that one.
Oh, that's got to hurt.
Wow. He gets up all right.
Rubberneck.
Whew. Look at this, bang.
Not sure what Nick Stevens was looking for there, but
David Teague and Aaron Hamill, boys, there. I've got to tell you, it's still happening down here and has been from the first bounce to the last, I would imagine.
ball up. Morrell out to half forward. Fisher was tackled by a couple, Maguire and Schwartz. Two of the more not so much talked about players in the side.
Just for the records, St Kilda need to kick 3 more behinds at least to kick their highest ever score against Carlton. They're already ahead against their highest ever margin. And by the way, we've got 37,136 people in this afternoon.
37-136. Remembering this is a Carlton home game. They had it shifted here only a few weeks ago. Kick to Wiggins missed. And out of bounds. What do you think about the shift here, guys? They've forgone a home game at Optus Oval, which would have given them some sort of advantage.
Yeah, well, they got beaten by 93 points at Optus Oval last time. The fact of the matter is, well, there's a match fact too. They haven't won a game at the Telstra Dome since round 5 last year.
Well, that's the fact of the matter, Gary.
Yeah, and they've won 10 in a row, I think, St Kilda.
But they're going to get used to playing here because they're going to end up here anyway, and they have to make some money because at the moment they're applying for redirection orders. It's just a matter of necessity. You've got to make the money to stay alive.
And they got belted at Optus last year as well, 93 points. So this is where the finals will be played.
Penny.
Amongst other places.
Out of the pack. Hamill working hard with Teague. What a tussle that has been. Lappin in there sticking his nose in as well. Hayes. Del Santo. Guerra. Forward the Saints go. Who will it be? Kazitsky, no. In the end, it's Prendergast.
Hamill and Lappin are still going at it. You call the game. Brian, I'll watch the fight. No, it's broken up. OK, back we go. As Bowyer gets it over the top to Camporelli. Camporelli goes up the line to no one in particular. And no one in particular got it.
I wonder whether there's anything between Aaron Hamill and Matthew Lappin, because they have had an intense dislike for each other from the start of this game. And this was while the ball went up the other end.
Show of strength.
It's only a matter of time before Aaron Hamill worked his way on top.
He's a bull of a man, there's no doubt about that.
I love the way he plays, I've got to say.
Goddard got it out. Powell flicks it over the top to Ball. Look at that, beautiful hands, all in one movement off to Powell, who took the hit to get the ball to Milne. Kick forward to Gehrig out on the lead, has to take it on the bounce. Flicks it forward. Kazitsky back to Goddard. Opens it up. Thompson inside to Hamill, who want to hit somebody instead, and does, and got the ball, and crashes through, but the umpires pick the free kick from the back. It'll go to Carlton. Bowyer got the free kick.
Lappin out the other side. Carlton, no goals kicked in this final quarter.
Right, good man.
So far, it was indeed Luke Penny. Right in front of the interchange area here on the dock side. He's a bit sore, gets up limping. Thus the handball. Del Santo, the go, the give, and Shepherd. Jones from a tight position, centering ball. Intelligent play always gives your team a chance. Milne making Bowyer work hard. And the ball was never coming out of there.
Interesting, boys. Aaron Hamill, they've obviously tried to go after him after he left Carlton to go to St Kilda. Against the Blues in the last 6 matches, he's had 17 frees, 4 and 7 against. Today it's 1-5 the other way.
Squaring up.
Yep.
So thus, the bit of animosity between he and his opponents today. Walker, wide, spots up and finds Higgins. A lot of these players playing with the Blues, of course, wouldn't have even played with Hamill when he was there.
Yep.
Ball kicked to centre wing. Baker. The Blues hanging off him. Clark went and got it. And Baker said, not that easy. Walker. Camporelli in game 200. Driving ball for Fevola at the back, lurking over the back. Hutchton, big grab.
There's rubbing salt into the wounds of Brendon Fevola. The fullback's taking hangers over you.
Penny around the body. Del Santo sits and waits. A very clever player, this boy.
He's been amongst the best players easily today, Nick Del Santo.
Inside the Thompson to the bloke who Gary, I reckon, will give the votes for the Toyota today. That's Hayes. Out to Revolt. Revolt goes short to Hamill. Saints fans cheer, Blues boo. Hamill has the ball. 13 minutes to get to the 100-point margin. Hamill kicks to the square. Gehrig in front. Got it! Fraser Gehrig has kicked 8. This to make it 9 and a margin of 104 points.
He waited and waited, Aaron Hamill. There was a couple of leads that he might have honoured, and one of them was Fraser Gehrig, to be honest, and then he just held it and waited until Fraser cruised back through the square and just sat it up to the top of the square, and he's going to kick his 9th big Fraser.
To equal his career best, which he kicked against the Kangaroos last year. He has 9. He's kicked his number, and the Saints cracked a ton.
Molly Meldrum here, just down in front of us, just wanders off with a bit of a smile. Probably going down the rooms, Brian, I'd imagine.
I might just drop into the Medallion Club for one on the way through, Gary, I think, Molly.
Celebrating just another sterling performance. Not sure when the last time the Saints have won 2 successive games by 100 points. Find out whether our man Luke is as good as he tells us he is.
I'll guess never.
And there is a very happy St Kilda supporter.
He knows who Graham Bonnet is.
I bet he does.
And he certainly does. Look at the smile. You can't wipe it off, Molly. He's not going home.
He's actually worried, Brian.
He's going down to the rooms to enjoy the moment.
He's worried he's going to wake up.
You imagine how exactly well, where he'll wake up.
Stevens, Penny. Oh, there are many, many St Kilda happy fans here at the moment, I tell you.
Got to be careful roasting Molly these days.
Hayes stripped of the ball for one of the few times today. Camporelli now, banging it inside 50. Walker, one out. Punch away. Kept them on his back and walk it in well. Maguire the tackle. Forced the kick to go wide. And just the minor score there for the Blues.
He's done enough again, Andrew Walker. Just some nice little subtle handballs in congested play. A couple of nice kicks. He's going to be a very good player. Going to be a very good player. And answer the question, the Saints have never won 2 games in a row, ever, by 100 points in successive weeks.
And they've never won 10 in a row to start a season, or 10 in a row at all, and they're going to do that today. So even the great sides of 65 and 66 and 71 in grand finals and 97 were unable to do these things. This side has now got claims to say it is the greatest St Kilda team ever assembled. Of course, there's only one way to really say that.
No, they can't make that claim until the last day in September.
But after 10 games, they can say they have been the best 10 games St Kilda team. Wiggins gets it back under the 100.
Well, that might have been the maybe the simple message from Dennis Pagan as Cooter and Cole Kinnear and some of the Carlton hierarchy there look on. Might have been the old Brass message. I think it was a state game. Brass sent out a message and said, "I don't care what happens, don't get done by over 100 points." So maybe it's as simple as that for the Blues. But it's been a long afternoon. It would have been a long afternoon in the box too, I would have thought.
The difference between 101 and 99, Gary. What does it mean?
What's the difference between winning by 100 or losing by under 100, Brian?
Well, it's nothing. I mean,
psychological.
Do you think?
No.
Yeah, it believe
it looks better.
Would be involved in that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah, you don't get done by 100.
Noble. Del Santo. Presidents might take it to heart.
Oh, supporters do, I can tell you.
Guerra. Long ball in. And got on the end of it, Bowyer. Wide and Funch. Digby Morrell. 11 minutes remaining in the game. High ball, Wiggins. Been okay. Del Santo.
Been better than okay. 28 possessions, 10 marks.
Brian, can I put to you, if you're a batsman, would you take make a difference between 99 runs and 101?
Well, that's different. That's a different game.
Oh, right, okay.
Different game, Ed. Here goes Fraser. Gehrig over the top. Couldn't mark. Crash. They go to ground. Houlihan. Very different game, Ed.
Would Fraser take 9 or 10 goals?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hamill. Well.
Yeah, gotcha.
Stevens wrapped
Found
up.
the nerve. Would he take 99 goals for the season or 109?
9 goals, 5 or 10.
Lance Whitnell and now to fullback to play on Justin Kozitsky.
By the way, Fraser's on 9-2 as Noble gave a big swipe there.
He did.
Yeah. And Prendergast gets up.
And I think he's going for the book, the umpire.
He is.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. That's it.
I'll keep an eye on him.
Just gave him a swap there.
Yep.
Up towards Fevola over his head and over the line and out of bounds. So the Saints have got 10 minutes to kick another goal here to win by 100 points. Given the fact that they led by 87 points at three-quarter time, I think it is significant for them to get the 100 points now.
Yeah, and the Blues, you've got to give the Blues some credit.
Oh,
they
yeah. crashed
crashed in a lot harder after half-time and remained competitive, at least in the second half.
And a lot of young blokes out there learning the hard way.
Yep. They put their bodies on the line. I think the thing that disappointed us most, or indeed Carlton supporters most, was how easily they were brushed aside and how open and free-flowing it was. They'll hopefully now be able to sit back and look, and certainly they've been able to do by crashing in, closing it up, making it a bit ugly. And the flow hasn't been there for the Saints.
Big Noble's had a good day.
Oh,
Hayes, look at this. He just shrugs the tackle, hit him in the mush, got it over the top to Hamill, kicks inside, and the only person who could grab it was Bowyer, and he did. Because the other 3 Saints were lined up behind him. Look at this, he's kicked on 1-on-4 though. Up they all go, the Saints. Ball, Kozitsky, Guerra, that was a throw. Got it out to Revolt. Revolt over to Ball. Ball to Kozitsky on the boundary line. Milne wants it, He says, kick it to me, but it went over his head. Now Harvey crashes through. Milne finally got it and kicks his 6th. Biggest score of any team in 2004. And Stephen Milne has kicked goals in each of the quarters. 6 goals, 2. Quite easily could have had 8.
He could have as well. And this was just a bad kick from David Clark, which was one of the reasons I think he probably was delisted or traded from Geelong, was that he could get the footy, but turned it over. He ended up lobbing it up to a 4-on-1. And this is the result. Stephen Milne has now got 6 for the afternoon. He's kicked 10 goals in 2 matches. Stephen Milne, he's crumbed, he's worked up the ground. I reckon he's had a very good afternoon.
The Saints, 2 goals in this 4th quarter. Milne has his 6th. Gehrig's got 9. Back in the middle, Hayes, fast hands, Blake. Gets it on the boot of Powell. Long ball inside 50. Hamill. Whitnell did some damage, surely, to Hamill there. Knee right in the chest. Hamill getting up now. Off hands in the meantime. Ozzie Jones has a shot at goal and missed. Hamill gets back to his feet. Let's have a look at this. The full force of Lance Whitnell running in the opposite direction with the knee into the belly.
Lucky, just turned it a little bit there, didn't he? Still, Aaron Hamill, he'll enjoy his bath tonight. Oh, Del Santo, talk about a bath. He has given the midfielders a bath today. He has been fantastic. 30th touch coming up for Nick Del Santo. What a star. If ever a bloke should wear white boots, he's one of them. Little chip forward. There it is to Hamill.
And what about this bloke's work rate?
Oh, it keeps going, doesn't it?
It is absolutely incredible. I would dare suggest that is a great mark, by the way. There wouldn't be a player in AFL footy who works harder, regardless of the score at any stage. Now, there wouldn't be too many that can keep pushing like this when they're 100-plus points up.
Career best 30 possessions for the boy from Sandhurst, Nick Del Santo. Fantastic performance. In comes Hamill for goal number 3, and Aaron Hamill bends it back. 3 goals. Saints have murdered them.
Well, I think he's up there with their most valuable players, Aaron Hamill. Not from a pure football point of view, although he holds his own in that area, but he sets the standard in terms of their attitude and their pressure and tackling. And as I said earlier, if any young St Kilda player didn't put their body on line, didn't chase, I reckon Aaron Hamill would go and chase him and tackle him.
110-point lead to the Saints with lots of time to kick more.
So the records have been, Brian, highest first half score against Carlton ever, biggest winning margin against Carlton ever, biggest score against Carlton ever. Fraser Gehrig, 9 goals, equal best performance in his career.
Kazitsky picks up on the wing, goes wide and will find Harvey. Didn't quite get to him on the full. Couldn't beat it before it hit the boundary line. We'll have another boundary throw in there.
Now let's have a look at this. This is 15 goals or more. Now you can. Gehrig has got 50 for the season now. 27 to Milne, 20 to Guerra, 19 to Hamill, Rewalt 19. While for Carlton, just the one player, 32 to Brendon Fevola.
A few options there, aren't they? When one player's down, another's up.
Fraser Gehrig's on track to kick 100. That's the other thing that comes out of today. He's got 50 goals to his name. It's only round 10, so we're not even at the halfway mark.
And Guerra was the man last week. He hasn't scored today.
Hasn't bobbed up at all.
Tough thing to do, though, Gary, to kick 100.
Yeah.
Thompson traps the ball at ground level. In comes Norman. The tackle from Blake. Houlihan. Forward. Wiggins got in good position. Couldn't complete it. Fevola doing what the small forwards normally do. Camporelli unselfish. Got it around the corner and found Fisher.
He's going to end up with 4 goals.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's not often you get 110 points behind and have someone lining up for their 4th. In fact, they'll be doing well to kick their 12 goals here, the Blues.
Brad Fisher will do just that, Gary. He'll line up 30 metres out directly in front. Nothing too hard about this. And he'll line up for goal number 4.
It's been a real shootout today, hasn't it?
Well, they've pushed, because they've been so aggressively attacking, that when the ball does get turned over, it might have only been turned over 12 times, or it'll probably nearly always result in a goal.
There's the look. Fisher comes in.
Brian, you've mossed him.
Yeah, just lacked any rhythmic approach.
It's been a shootout. One team's turned up with a bazooka and the other one's turned up with a pea shooter, unfortunately.
Spud gun.
6 minutes left in the term. The rampaging Saints to put together 10 successive victories for the first time in their history. Camporelli couldn't quite glove it. Rewalt stole it and ran. Out wide, Thompson. Long kick up to Noble, who's been fantastic today, and Noble takes the mark.
Gee, there's some hard running still going on too, Ed, for, only under 6 minutes to go in the game. There was some super hard running that took place then from the St Kilda midfielders.
Rewalt. Oh, Thompson's going to get run down.
Right, free kick.
Umpire's called play on. Allows Lappin to run through the middle of the ground. He can go all the way here, Lappin. The paddock is on. He kicks it looking for Fevola. Oh, magnificent play. Maxie Hodgson.
Well, every single Carlton player ran back towards goal. Maybe it only took one of them to run forward, and it might have been just dropped on their chest.
Harvey into the middle. Here's the man, Noble. Guerra gave it to him a little early and able to read the play there, but nevertheless they get away with it. Schwartz marks, runs to 55, low ball. Gehrig needs 10, got 9 for today. Teague at the back mops up. Wyden finds Scotland deep. Fraser's got 9 today.
I reckon 10 would see him out. I think he'd be happy to spell after 10.
Yeah. Lappin to centre wing. Prendergast marks right near the interchange area. Umpire telling the big fella Noble that's the mark. Kick on the head of Wiggins. In went Houlihan. Fisher. Hands got it out the back door to Clark. Picks it up. Shot on goal missed. Minor score. 11-10. Carlton to 29-9. Been accurate kicking here.
It was a nice and aggressive hit by Lenny Hayes right at the kick. I mean, we saw the dying minutes last week, Eddie. You remember Jason Blake, I reckon it was, that ran with a fly to the ball, 2 minutes to go, 100 points up. One of the more courageous marks you'll see. Symbolic, I think.
The Saints are singing the song already. There's Noble again. And while the Saints have racked up consecutive 100-point wins, the Carlton side are suffering their 5th 100-point loss since 2002. Here they go. Up they come again. Good play there. Milne, though, has been magnificent. Ducking and weaving. Gets it back. Here's Guerra. He wants to get a goal. He gets onto the left boot. He lines it up. No, he wants to give it off now. And as a result, a bit of over-finessing. It's not done yet, though. Scotland gets it away. Now they're away, Carlton. Teague has a bounce. Set up for him. He thumps it long. Up towards Fevola from behind. Norman couldn't quite hold it. Good play by Jones. Gets it out to Blake. And away goes Revolt on centre wing. A bit of icing on the cake with under 4 minutes to go for the Saints. Up to Harvey. What about these names? Superstars, one and all. Harvey chips it back, looking for Milne. Ball is there and marks. They want to get Gehrig his 10th. There's no doubt about it. They're looking for Fraser. He leads one way. Now he goes back to the square. Ball. Gehrig's got the fly from behind, but it's punched through. For a rush behind.
Starting to run, Fraser. He's starting to run. He's sensing that time's running out for the 10.
He ran that wrong way on that occasion, but he hasn't done much wrong today.
Well, a couple of leads that could have been honoured to Fraser haven't in the last couple of minutes. Kick, Noble, marked strongly.
They kicked to a 3-on-1 though. I mean, that's the disappointing thing for Dennis Pagan.
Del Santo chipping kick to Penny. Kept it alive, Scotland. The brushing tackle. Camporelli at halfback runs. Got plenty of time to sum up the options and be precise. Wiggins paid the mark, fair enough.
Well, it's spoiled by his own man, though.
Yep.
Lucky.
Had enough of it. Wiggins. Under 3 remaining. Kick inside 50. Hudson the fist at the back. Walker tackled. Fevola, kick, Lappin, fortunate, can kick a goal, got it. Lappin has got his second goal.
I'll take my hat off to Matthew Lappin. I think he's worked very, very hard from the very first bounce. He's racked up 26 possessions in actual fact and taken 8 marks and kicked 2 goals. So
good, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been super. He had to go down and play on Aussie Jones effectively to try and just reduce the influence that Aussie's been able to have on the game, and he just had a crack, Matty Lappin. Well done.
It's all academic, but
it's not really. It's only it's 102 points.
Exactly.
Here.
It's 2.5 minutes to kick 30 goals in a game is a huge milestone, and to win by the 100 points, and obviously for Gehrig to get his 10. So let's see what we can do here. Ball get out to Jones. Here's a chance for him. It's Penny though that they go for. Penny gets hands to the ball. Milne underneath it, just went the wrong way. Bowie is there. Milne's got it. Milne's got 6. He wants 7. Gets it out to Harvey over the top to Powell. Advantage is called, and Powell goes pow and kicks another goal. He's got 2. That's 30 goals to St Kilda.
And the message has to go out to Luke Penny.
Get out
of the road, for goodness sakes.
He is attracting everything at the moment.
He is. He's been sent down there to kick a celebratory goal as a reward for great defensive work through 10 rounds of footy. But he's costing Fraser Gehrig his 10th.
He's bobbing up like a bad penny.
Fraser Gehrig's got to pull rank. He's got to say, get back.
108-point lead, St Kilda, but the interest in whether Fraser can kick his 10th. Penny's down in the goal square and he should move.
See if they can get the 200 there. 10 points off 200.
Penny is like a magnet sucking the ball away from Fraser at the moment. We've got a cameraman down there on ground level. Tell him to get up the ground.
Someone has to.
Jones. Hudson. Here we go. Lenny's got it and he's good by foot. Drawing handball. Round the corner, Harvey. No go this time for the Saints. Tried to do too much with it. Just get it into the big fella.
There it goes.
Powell. Around to the right on his non-preferred side. Got his second in a row and 3rd for the game.
The 200's on.
And we know just the man to kick it. That man right there to bring up the double century would be just perfect. But Stephen Powell, who along with Andrew Thompson and Robert Harvey just come on and off the bench and work their backsides off and get plenty of the footy. He's just banged on a lazy 3 for the afternoon, Powley.
But what about the kicking? 31 goals, 10.
That's on his non-preferred, right through the middle. 21 possessions, had a fair afternoon for someone to spend some time on the bench.
Fraser, just go up to Penny, have a word to him just to push up the odd 40 metres or so.
Well, we're trying to make something at the last minute. 26. Geelong, by the way, back in round 7 and 8 in 1992. The last team to score wins by over 100 points in consecutive weeks. Carlton get it out, but it's going to come back up the ground again because Maxie Hudson's got it with a minute 15. Can they get to 200 points? And can Fraser Gehrig get goal number 10? Baker dives in on top, gets a free kick, should have got one. No, umpire says play on. Noble flicks it out. They've got the numbers again. Harvey gets it out again to Baker, round the body. 2-on-1, the Saints have got the numbers. Del Santo's there, did it well. Kept his feet. Now they can go. Del Santo kicks forward, up towards Blake, who's got it outside 50. Blake Gehrig's got it 180, saying to Penny, get out of my face. Get out of the way, Penny, for goodness sake. He leads forward. Harvey's got it. Harvey's going to be run down from behind. Get the kick away. Oh, I said holding the man. I didn't think he ran off the mark. But anyway, 38 seconds, that might be it.
Well, you'd reckon they were 3 points down, the Saints. The excitement in the dome here.
114 points is the margin. The belting. All Carlton sins coming home to be punished at the moment.
Don't kick them all down.
The mark has been taken by Lappin.
Matthew Lappin has been Carlton's best player today. He has given everything he's got. Played half back. Now he's gone forward, lining up for goal number 3. There won't be too many that would be happy to put their hand out at the end of today, I wouldn't think. But he is certainly one of them.
This was shaping as St Kilda's 3rd biggest win ever and Carlton's 3rd biggest loss ever. Lappin needs the goal to avoid that. And he does, I think. And icing on a cake for Lappin because he has been sensational today for the Blues. His 3rd goal, 2nd for the term. But it has all been St Kilda. They have won by 108 points. Their 2nd consecutive Centurion margin in consecutive weeks. An enormous percentage booster for the Saints. And they just keep marching in.
Oh, do they ever? And haven't the supporters just enjoyed the last couple of weeks? I can't think of a negative for St Kilda to come out of either of those 2 games. How could you anyway after successive victories of 100 points? They are on top. They are undefeated after 10 rounds. It's St Kilda 13-10, 196, 13-10, 88 the Blues. And Lenny Hayes just down with his boys, the Carlton players. Well, they'd be a bit shell-shocked, I would imagine, because that was a fair belting. Their second half was a lot better. They're a bit more competitive, but at the end of the day, we're looking at what we were looking at. 100 plus anyway. I'll tell you the exact score. One of the stars was Stephen Milne. He kicked 6. He's with Jason McCartney.
Yes, Milne, you worked hard the early parts of the season. You worked really hard. Now the goals are coming. 6 today, 27 for the year. How's it feel, mate?
Yeah, it feels great, mate. To win, 10 straight club record, it's a great feeling around the place.
And obviously at the feet of Fraser and Sammy Hamill there, it's good, easy pickings there. Just stay close to them.
It is, mate. Them boys are on fire, and if I can, do my job each week and get my tackles and essays and maybe kick a couple, I'll be happy.
Apart from kicking high scores, you've got to give a lot of credit to your defence as well.
Exactly. Max and Luke Penny all year, along with Ozzy and Stephen Baker, who's been down there. They've been great all year, and hopefully we can just keep it going.
Thanks for your time, Steve.
Thanks, mate.
Now, there's Stephen Milne. What do you think, Ed? That was a very good performance. They were... no, they're excellent. The essays they talk about, the selfless acts, there's Scott Camporelli. 200 games, not something that he would... well, he'd look back proudly on his 200 game, but his 200th, not all that memorable. Lindsay Fox just cheers the Saints from the ground. They have been a revelation this year, and gee, all of their good players are up and about and on fire. And I'm just here one out at the moment. There's Lenny Hayes, the skipper, who was outstanding today. Brian Taylor, you're still with me, my friend. And you have to be impressed with the Saints.
Yes, look, they're absolutely fantastic today, Gary. I thought the way they come out at the start of the game would have been very, very easy at half-time to drop off, Gary, and come out and just play some ordinary footy after half-time, but they really had a crack. And talk about setting some records today. The Saints are absolutely fantastic, Gaz.
Yes, they were. And good on the supporters who've been through a lot over a long period of time. Grant Thomas would no doubt be, he'd be well pleased. He'd just have to go in and refocus. You wouldn't even question them about that because they have risen to every challenge. That man, Dennis Pagan, has got some challenges, has to be said.
What do you do, Gaz?
Stephen Kernahan there with him and Tony Elshaw.
What do you do?
Well, Dennis would know better than any of us that he's got a young list that are still building and learning, but maybe they could sit down and watch this and find out where they can improve. Look at the likes of Hamill and the work rate of their forwards, the hard running of Robert Harvey and Luke Ball and all these blokes. You can always learn something, and this will be a pretty rousing rendition.
Oh, how I want to be in St. Kilda. Oh, when the Saints go marching in.
108 points was the margin. The Saints on top, their best start ever. And there was a lot of best evers today, but just look at the scoreline and you'll find out why. St. Kilda, 31 goals, 10, 196, 108 point winners over the Blues, 13-10, 88.